Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. Hey, before we get started, got some housekeeping I got to do. We got to thank our channel sponsors of Cape Cod Harley Davidson. Thank you very much. Yankee Harley Davidson. Thank you very much. And the Heyman Law Firm, because when you go down, he picks you up. And without their help and their support, this would be a lot harder for me. Well, tonight's a special night. I have a gentleman all the way in from California. Well, not here, but he's in the green room right now, from California. And his name is Paul Petrali, the nephew of the great Smoky Joe Petrali. Welcome, Paul. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Doc, for having me on. I was really happy to meet you a couple of weeks ago in Milwaukee at the 120th Gala.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And us meeting was, I think, destiny had it to happen. And, it's been a pleasure ever since I met you to learn about your uncle. And I hope everybody here tonight learns about your uncle and all the great things he did.
Sure. Well, I say let's get started.
Let's jump right into it. All right. So tell us about your great uncle Joe and the Joe Petrali project.
Okay. My great uncle Joe is considered by many, and hopefully after this project continues and after this podcast, they'll realize that he was the GOAT of motorcycle racing. But my great uncle Joe was racing 100 years ago today. And he started when he was 14 years old, and that would have been in 1918. And so Joe Petrali set a land speed record. He won many hill climb championships. He won championships on the board track, on the flat track, on the dirt track. He's got probably the nicest statue in Sturgis on Main Street. If you see the hill climbing statue at Harley Davidson in Milwaukee, that is actually paying homage to Joe Petrali, as told to me by Jeff Decker, who is the sculptor of that statue. And so what we have decided was that Joe was only living mainly online, and a few articles here and there, and then you had to visit Daytona or you had to visit Harley Davidson, and that's not that easy for West Coast people. And Joe started out on the West Coast, born in San Francisco, but he grew up in Sacramento, and we don't have any statues, any monuments, any sculptures, anything that is recognizing Joe Petrali on the West Coast. And so we decided that after seeing so many people selling knockoff pictures of him on eBay, and that we were starting to feel that he was getting forgotten about. So we decided to change all that.
Perfect. Now, the picture behind you is Joe setting the land speed record in 1937, correct?
That's correct.
Nice. I've done my homework. Between you and I talking and what I'm finding out on the web, either on Harley Davidson's page, on your web page, which, guys, if you're curious, that web page is linked in the comments down below. And you want to tell everybody what that web page is? Paul?
You went a little silent on me. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I did lose that last question. Go ahead.
All right. The website for the Joe Petrali project, it's joepetrali.com, correct?
That's correct.
Awesome.
So if you go into joepetrali.com, you can read a lot about the history of my great uncle and all of the accomplishments that he has made, and why, once again, we consider him, and a lot of people consider him, the greatest of all time, or the GOAT. Harley Davidson really we like to think that he made Harley Davidson as much as Harley Davidson made him. He was winning so many races. He actually won in 1935. He won every AMA race that he entered.
Oh, wow.
He won 31 consecutive hill climb races.
Wow.
And so there were so many things that he did in racing between the time that he was 14 years old in Sacramento and in 1937, where you see him on this this photo behind me. He was able to set the land speed record on this EL on the Streamliner Knucklehead that he and Harley Davidson engineered to steal that record away. I believe it was from Indian. They built this bike around Joe. He was obviously the obvious selection for the motorcycle racer to win this record on the beach in Daytona. A lot of people see this picture and they say, "Oh, that's Bonneville." Well, that's because this picture looks like he's on salt, but that's actually in the studio at Harley Davidson in Milwaukee. Okay. So there are tons of photos out there. We have the best photos on our website, and we also have many other photos that we haven't posted on the website yet, and we will. We have articles and photos and things that only the family has, that never made it out online and never made it to eBay or to all of these other websites, that we will be posting on the joepetrali.com website soon.
Awesome. That's great. And so he set that land speed record in 1937, and that was what, 138 miles an hour roughly?
That'd be 136.183 miles per hour.
And in that time, that was huge, because I believe the Knucklehead was the first, well, the EL Knucklehead was the first bike to break 100 miles an hour. And for him to set that record of 136, I bet that record stood for quite a few years.
With the help of World War II, yes, it did. I don't like to say that, but it is the truth. But then it was broken about 11 years later by somebody who wanted to make it their business just to break that record. And they were famous for breaking that one record, but that was about it. At that point, Joe was getting a little old, and he knew that some of the new class of racers were coming out, and they were more dangerous, and it was just kind of getting out of control. And so about a year after that, he left motorcycle racing and then went into some other ventures.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But, set board track records, set hill climb records, set flat track records, set land speed record, probably owns the most championships by a single motorcycle racer for the longest time as well. Is that fair enough to say?
When you put together hill climb, flat track, and board track, he absolutely does far ahead of all the rest. And the great Scott Parker actually broke the record with more AMA championships, but Scott never raced on board track because he wasn't from the golden age back then. But that's not to take away from anything that Scott did. I mean, he's fantastic. But when you put those three different types of classes, board, flat, and uphill climb, Joe Petrali's the GOAT. He's absolutely untouchable.
Well, right on. So let's turn back time a little bit. So he actually knew the founders of Harley Davidson, Bill Harley and Arthur Davidson and everybody else.
Absolutely. When Joe did pass away in 1973, we have the personal letter that was written to his wife Florence by Bill, expressing his condolences and reliving the fact that he was the greatest of all time, and he was saying that how it must be very hard on her, and that they were always there for her, and that was a very touching letter that was written by Harley Davidson to Joe's wife Florence,
Yeah,
And we
that's
may
amazing.
actually post that. We're still not exactly sure if we're going to put that up or not.
Well, some things should stay within the family, my personal opinion.
Sure.
And, that's something that should stay within the family. But also at the same time, that's a great artifact that, the founders reached out to your great aunt to give them their condolences. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And now, Smoky Joe, you don't mind I call him that, do you? Because that's what he was known by.
Well, it's interesting. If you go online and you read some articles and you see photos, they'll call him Smokin' Joe. And Smokin' Joe was the great Joe Frazier, the
Hmm.
boxer. Smoky Joe, from 40 years before Smokin' Joe ever even set his foot in the ring, he was called Smoky Joe because he left everybody in the smoke. And nowadays it's called, you leave someone in the dust. But back then it was in the smoke. It was probably a combination of the dust and the smoke from his bike. But that's how he got that reputation as Smoky Joe.
Awesome. So he has ties to Shrimp Burns as well, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Now,
He raced with Shrimp Burns and Eddie Brink and all of the other greats. And he may have actually learned some techniques from them. The one thing that Joe is famous for, and it's talked about in some articles, but definitely in the family. I remember my grandma telling me this when I was a young boy, that Joe was known as the gentleman of the track. So it was his opinion that there was a lot of, kind of shady characters and hoodlums that were racing at that time. And Joe was a good boy raised in a nice family in Sacramento.
mhm.
And he didn't quite fit in with that. He was very modest. He didn't have a big ego. Everything that he did was on the track. And to try to clean up the track, in his own words, he decided that he was going to put a tie on underneath all of his racing gear. So now here he is wearing a tie. Well, you will actually see that in that. I think it's the Discovery Channel did Harley and the Davidsons, and
Yep.
Joe Petrali's character appears 2 times in that series, and he's always looking really nice, and they're always asking his opinion and his approval of whatever they were doing at the time. So, Joe was he had a lot of nicknames: Smoky Joe, the gentleman of the track, and yeah, that's
In the
he's actually
goat.
wearing a tie in the photo behind me. You just can't see it.
Right on. So that's awesome. What a legacy he left behind uh, for Harley Davidson and for the Petrali family. I mean, the ties. Now, I understand we don't have to go into details. When we met, was right before you actually had a meeting with Harley Davidson Corporate, which, your family tie is still pretty much there with Harley Davidson Corporate after all these years, which is amazing.
Well, when we got involved in this what we call the Joe Petrali project, because there's a couple of different facets to the project, which is the company and the foundation. Maybe we'll talk about that later, but we had contacted Harley Davidson to let them know that we exist and that Joe Petrali is alive and well. And they immediately extended an invitation to give us a tour of the facility, and we were able to make that work for the 120-year anniversary just last month.
Yep.
And they also gave us a tour of the archives room, which we're very grateful for.
Yeah,
And
that
we were able
archives room
to,
is amazing.
yeah, it was
And
a hot day out there, so we were happy to go in that room.
yeah, well, I tried to get into the museum that day, but it was a 2-hour wait in a long line. And I was
Yeah,
like, you know what? I was in the museum in 2019. It's only a short flight or a day and a half ride out there. I could come back anytime. There's other things I wanted to do, like take a look at the Wyman Brothers bikes and keeping with the racing theme of tonight. and I was able to do that. And that was awesome. I had a great time at the anniversary. I believe you had a great time as well, and you were there for some business as well.
That's correct. We
Awesome.
also had business in Chicago as well.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. I
So,
say Chicago as a tribute to my friend Ron Onesti.
okay. That's a big name, actually. I've heard that name before.
Well, Ron Onesti is the CEO and the director of the Italian American Sports Hall of Fame in Chicago, and he's also very interested in what we have, the artifacts, as was Harley Davidson, of Joe Petrali's that are still only guarded by the family. They're not able to be seen publicly, but every now and again we'll go to a race or we'll go to an event and we put up a display of Joe Petrali, including the photo behind me, with other things as well. But Joe Petrali is a member, has been inducted in the American or Italian American Sports Hall of Fame in Chicago. And I think they would like some more items, original items of Joe's to display. So as possibly in Daytona Beach as well. So we're going to be very busy in the next few years.
Yeah. Now, speaking of, things on display, I've watched your videos that you have on YouTube. And if anybody's interested, of course, Paul's got a YouTube channel, and it's California Swirls. It's all about wines and wine tasting and things like that. And it's really good. I don't know. Everybody go ahead, check it out. Like and subscribe if you want. They actually did a video at the Evel Knievel Museum.
That's correct.
In Topeka, Kansas. And there's a little bit of your uncle there too. Is that from what I saw?
That's actually the beginning of the Joe Petrali project that we've embarked on. What happened was we were filming wineries outside of California, and we wanted to see what was going on in other places. And we got chased out of Colorado by a snowstorm, and we drove all night, and we actually beat that snowstorm and ended up in Topeka. And when we woke up, we were like, okay, what's going on in Topeka? We didn't expect to run into some very nice wineries, but I will give a shout out to the Oz Winery in Kansas, and they have some really fun wines there. So you might want to check that out.
Yeah.
But anyway, we didn't realize, but we were 2 blocks away from the Evel Knievel Museum, which is a very, very nice museum, which was also a Harley Davidson dealership that also had a Harley Davidson mini museum attached to it.
Wow.
And it was at that time when I realized that my uncle was not getting enough recognition for who he was and what he accomplished. And with the director of the Harley Davidson Museum, Bruce, he and I thought that it was probably a good idea that we form this project, form the company and the foundation to bring Joe Petrali back into the limelight. Yeah. And so shout out to Bruce at the Evel Knievel Museum, which is one of the best museums I've ever been to. I just got to say.
Yeah. Well, I challenge you to come out east. About an hour away from me is the Motorcyclopedia Museum in Newburgh, New York. He has the largest private collection of antique Indians in the world, dating back to 1901. Plus Harley Davidsons, plus movie bikes, plus custom bikes, plus original bikes. They have a 1915 Harley Davidson that was signed by John Davidson and Gene Davidson in 2015. Quick story on that was that motorcycle made a ride from Newburgh, New York to New York City in 1915. Wow. That's 100 miles one way. In 2015, that same exact motorcycle, of course, fresh oil, a fresh leather belt was added to it, and it made the same trip. And Gene and John Davidson both signed that bike, and it's on display there, and it's awesome.
Well, I think we're already making arrangements to make a trip out to hang out with you, and then we'll go from where you're at in Connecticut. We can make it to this. Says my
Yep. And
battery is running low, so I got to
oh, okay.
replug this.
Yep. No problem.
Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Uh, so that's awesome. Now he retired
So
from
we're okay.
racing. Yep. Okay. There we go. Oh, we lost him. He'll come back, guys. What's up, everybody? Welcome, Hells on Two Wheels. Jake from H2 Performance, the Thumpers, Ray's Motor Life, Tiger Ward, Frogzilla, Corey, welcome. Dallas, welcome. I saw Robert Pacuccio in here earlier. Welcome. The Frogzilla, of course. Hello, Chris Venus. Let's see. I know PA Biker 65 was in here a little while ago. He's working tonight. So, guys, I'm sorry. Paul's having some technical difficulties right now. But so far, what a great story about his Uncle Joe. Started racing Harley Davidsons, and set records for, dirt track, board track racing. And if you know anything about the board track racing and you watch the movie Harley and Davidsons, they call it the murder drone. Thanks, Dallas. I appreciate it. More cool stuff to come once he gets back in here. There's, he's got his Uncle Joe has ties to Howard Hues, and I was hoping we could get into that soon. But set hill climb records, sets land speed records down in Daytona Beach. Guy is all around a Renaissance man, and I really enjoyed, having Paul on. Hopefully, he could come back on here soon. We could finish our conversation. And I met him at the 120th. You guys already probably figured that out. And I had a nice long conversation with him. And I was like, I got to get you on my show. And he agreed. And, here we are. It was supposed to be on last week, but we had issues last week, or he had a prior commitment and couldn't make it. But this week he was able to do so. But his laptop battery, I guess, died. So I guess he's probably going to find the power cord, get it plugged in, get it turned on, log back on, and we continue this conversation. But, I spent a lot of time since I met him in Milwaukee researching his uncle, his great uncle, Joe Petrali. If you want to know the spelling, it's Petrali. Feel free to Google it. The Joe Petrali project will come up. There's a link on Harley Davidson's website honoring Joe and talking about all his accomplishments with Harley Davidson. And I know he's not here, but he actually started racing. And I'm going to cut in on this. His great uncle Joe started racing on Indian. And what happened was his bike never made it to a race. And one of the racers for Harley Davidson had a broken arm. And they says, hey, you want to try this? And at that point, he jumped on the bike, won the race, and became a racer for Harley Davidson corporate, which is awesome. And here he is. All right, Paul. I was giving him, a brief history on how you and I talked, how your great uncle started racing on Indian, and then how he transferred from Indian to Harley because his bike never made it to the race, and the guy's bike he rode had a broken arm.
That's right.
And I thought that's awesome.
That was just luck on his part, I believe. But then, once that luck happened, you can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay,
actually, great. I'm going to say the luck was all on Harley Davidson to have him on the race team. One, all the records he set on Harley Davidson. too.
That's right.
His track
Um,
persona, his his demeanor, and how he represented the company. I mean, what more can they ask from the man? Nothing.
well, not really. Um, he had a lot of he had a reputation when he was going around the track on the flat track. He never put his foot down in that slide, and he just thought, that's for sissies. But we go to the races almost every Friday night locally here, and
And
if it was skill or he just wanted to maintain a reputation, but yeah, and then there was that time when he was racing right behind Eddie Brink, and there's that story of when Brink his front tire had blown out, and he wrecked, and then Joe hit his bike and was launched 20 feet into the air, and he came slamming down on the board track. They both entered the same hospital, where unfortunately Eddie Brink had passed away from his injuries. They had also assumed that Joe did too. And Joe was on the gurney in the hallway when there was another nurse there that they had instructed to sew up Joe's lip because part of his lip was missing, and they were able to bring it back to the hospital. They didn't know if he was still alive or if he was dead, but he sewed that piece back onto his lip only to find out that Joe was alive.
wow, tough
And
dude.
can you imagine? That's a tough guy, but boy, I can imagine being that nurse that was attending to him, that all of a sudden this guy pops alive again.
Yeah.
So he never did like that scar. I mean, he is the original Scarface, but from what I understand from the stories, and especially from Joe's son, David, who lives in the Los Angeles area, and we work closely with him on this project, by the way, that he hated that scar. We think it's cool, but he hated it.
Well, they wore helmets back then, but they were basically, for lack of better words, a leather condom for your head with very minimal padding.
Well, they were balloon jumpers helmets.
Yeah.
So these were back in World War One. They would send these balloons up in for reconnaissance, and they were mainly to keep the guys from freezing to death up there. Of course, as you know, they gave little protection, but yeah. So those were the items that they were using, plus the aviators' goggles. They didn't make goggles for motorcycle racers. They made goggles for the aviators, and so they used those as well. We actually have the helmet that you see behind me on that photo, and the one that he used to set the record. We have that helmet.
Oh,
We
wow.
have the buddies that he's wearing. We have the goggles. We have all of that, and we're going to find a home for them eventually, so that the American public that can appreciate somebody like Joe Petrali would come to a museum to see these items.
Yep. Well, I would appreciate them already, and I appreciate everything that your great uncle did. Like I said, a Renaissance man, all the way around, tough guy, you know, and you and I were talking earlier on how he wanted to clean up the track. You want to elaborate for everybody else? What do you mean by cleaning up the track? With a rake, a broom, or?
Well, I think what it mainly was that there were a bunch of guys that. Okay, let me backtrack. Okay, Joe grew up in a nice Catholic family in East Sacramento, and he was raised to be a gentleman from the time he was born, basically, as the family was, and he didn't realize that that by peeling back the boards at the California State Fair, the old State Fair in Sacramento, he and his little buddies, when they were just little boys, they would pull those boards back so they could watch the races. They couldn't afford to get into them. Joe lived in right off of a place called Stockton Boulevard near Broadway in East Sacramento. and he only had not even a mile walk to the fairgrounds. So that was lucky for him, the little guy he was. And him and his buddies would do that. Well, eventually Joe was able to make his way in there and become a pit boy. So he ran around and did whatever the racers wanted. But as he got old enough, he tinkered with the engines as a young teen as well. And being somewhat self-taught, he started to work for a gentleman named Archie Rife, who had a motorcycle shop in downtown Sacramento. That exact location is a big high-rise building right now, but at the time, and that's how he got his start. He raced with his boss Archie as well, and they were both becoming very accomplished and setting some records and doing some wonderful things. And so I know I'm kind of going on about Joe, but he was the gentleman of the track from the day he was born, the gentleman actually, and then until he started racing on the tracks, and then all the way until he had passed away in 1973. He had a reputation of being the nicest guy, the most modest guy out there, no ego at all. When he would win a trophy, he would come home and give it to his brother, my grandfather. And those trophies are all in the family. Joe he was not a flashy kind of guy. He did have the AMA lifetime membership card #1, which the family has that card as well.
Wow.
And he used to flash that with some hesitation because, like I said, he was very modest. All of the loudness came from his things. They're wanting motorcycle outside. Anyway, all of the things that he did, that really spoke for themselves. So people are asking me, what is, why are you doing what I'm doing? And I guess I finally figured out that I'm actually his ego. I'm Joe's ego for him. I'm trying to make sure that the racing world and motorcycle world all realizes what my great uncle accomplished and what he was all about as a person as well.
Have you talked to any current day racers like the Wyman brothers or anybody like that about your uncle?
I have not. We haven't had time to attend all of these bigger races. We did attend the American Flat Track in Sacramento earlier this year. And we did have a shirt with the Joe Petrali patch on, and we were recognized immediately. And we were really happy to find out that these people in the racing world still remember who Joe was. And that really gave us an injection of enthusiasm to continue on with this project, to make people remember who Joe Petrali was or find out who he was in the beginning. We're sponsoring a young motorcycle racer in the Northern California area where we live. We always go shout out to Fast Fridays in Auburn, California, and David Joyner and the wonderful things that he does with that track, and all of these wonderful young racers out there on a flat track. And we go out there and we have a great time. We found a racer that we're going to sponsor. And but as far as the much bigger races throughout the country, no, we haven't been to those yet.
Nice. That's, well, if you're a motorcyclist and you love motorcycle racing, the name Joe Petrali is, synonymous with it. It just goes. I mean, just because of his accomplishments and the man he was and the things he's done, to me, he was somebody who set the standard. He set he set records for people to break, and I'm sure he probably dared them to do it.
Well, for somebody who's in a sport like motorcycle racing and did such phenomenal things, and this is only in motorcycle racing. If we can get into it, if we have time, about some of the things that he did after 1938 is just as amazing.
We got time.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, after 1938, I think I had mentioned to you that he was tired of racing. He didn't like all of the crazy guys and how fast they were going and how dangerous it was getting out there. And he felt like he pretty much made his mark, and that was quite a big mark that he did make. And then he started working in at the Indianapolis Speedway, and he was helping build engines there. He was on pit crews there. One of the pit crews that he was on in, I believe it was 1958, that car won the Indianapolis 500. And you can find that on YouTube. You can see Joe Petrali, and there's very rare video of Joe Petrali. And there are a few up on YouTube, mainly at Indianapolis and Bonneville. Speaking of Bonneville, he became the head steward, the chief timekeeper at the Bonneville Salt Flats in the 60s. So he was there for the Spirit of America, I believe, and the Green Monster and all of that fun competition. I used to watch that on the news when I was a little boy. I think I was only about 7 or 8 years old. And you didn't set that record in Bonneville unless the signature on the bottom said Joe Petrali.
Wow.
And
so he always
did.
kept, he always kept in touch.
I'm sorry?
Racing, he left motorcycle racing, but he never left racing.
No, he never left. Down in Los Angeles, he and his son David, they worked on midget racing cars. They raced at different tracks in the LA area. And that actually led into being where he was down there. A friend had told him that something's going on in Culver City, and you might want to go check that out. And so Joe drove down there and started just walking around the structure that was going up. But he was told that it's not just a building, something's up, you want to go down there. And the story is that he was inquiring enough to where they asked him, why are you asking so many questions? And they said, are you looking for work? And he said, well, that depends on what you have. And they said what they had, and Joe fit in. He said, well, I'm Joe Petrali, and I think I'm qualified to help out here. So they grabbed him up right away. And it wasn't long before he bumped right into Howard Hues, who was there. So what this Culver City structure was the hangar for the Spruce Goose. So Joe was in charge of setting up all of the machinery that helped build that airplane. And when Howard Hues had met Joe, he didn't know who he was just by looking at him, but he was introduced, and he said, who's this guy? And they said, this is Joe Petrali. And Howard said, oh, yeah, I know you from Indianapolis. Well, this was back in the 40s. Joe actually went back in the 50s as well. But in the 40s, Joe came on board with Howard Hues, and he was known to only say, okay, Howard. He never argued with him. Howard immediately grabbed him, and according to Florence Petrali, she said that Howard said that Joe Petrali was the only man that he could really trust. And there were a lot of great men that made Howard Hues as famous and that helped out with Howard Hues' accomplishments. But that does not necessarily mean that he trusted them wholeheartedly. Whereas Joe Petrali, the modest fellow and the guy without an ego whatsoever, he did whatever he was told. And Howard Hues relied on him greatly to get the things that he wanted to do that are in public or that were not in public, the things that the family knows about that the public does not. So Joe Petrali wound up being Howard Hues' flight engineer on the Spruce Goose when it flew. There's a backstory to that you can find on the Joe Petrali website here coming up, which a lot of people don't know about. It was not represented correctly in the movie The Aviator. They did a really good job of that, but what really happened in that cockpit on the Spruce Goose was not what happened in the movie Aviator. And if
Okay.
you want to know, you'll find it eventually at joepetrali.com.
I'll look it up.
Sure.
So he not only did he leave his mark in the motorcycle industry, motorcycle racing industry, IndyCar racing, but also in aviation. And Howard Hues is one of the biggest names in aviation even today. And the Spruce Goose is one of the most famous aircraft ever to fly. And your great uncle Joe was part of that as well.
That's correct.
A true,
It seemed like
true Renaissance man.
wherever world records were happening, wherever champions were, Joe was close by, and he either documented it or he was it. Right? So that leads me to another shout out for all those that really like the Aviator movie, and we're big fans of that. The Spruce Goose is now in McMinnville, Oregon, at the Evergreen Aviation and Space Museum. And if you ever find yourself wine tasting where some of the best Pinot Noir is in the world, of course, I'm going to talk about wine a little bit, but that museum is probably the only better museum when it comes to aviation and space is in Washington, D.C. at Smithsonian. Otherwise, if you're in the middle of the country or if you're on the west side of the country, try to go see that museum. And if you mention this podcast, even they'll probably let you go up and sit in the cockpit at the exact place that Howard Hues sat.
I'll flash them the picture of you and I together down at Milwaukee. Look, I know the ancestor. Here we are together.
Did you ever tell him how we met?
Yeah, I told him we met by accident right outside the museum before it opened, before your meeting. And
sure.
We everybody's seen the video by now of my second video of Milwaukee for the 120th. And of course, you're in it, and we talked a little bit there. Your wife was standing there next to my wife, and I believe the four of us hit it off right from the get-go and right from the beginning, and it was just like a match made in heaven for us to meet. And I'm thankful every day that I had the opportunity to meet you and talk to you and learn more about your great uncle Joe. And I mean, a couple times in Milwaukee, I think I called you Joe by accident.
I've been called Joe a few times, but I always have to say, no, I am Paul. I'm just promoting Joe, the great one. So
right, and that's what kept doing it, because your shirt said Joe Petrali on it, and that's why I called you Joe. But you're getting mistaken for some big shoes to fill.
Oh, and that's the last thing that I want. I just want people to know that those shoes existed, So,
well, definitely,
that was really a great time at Harley Davidson, and I was glad to meet you. Did you announce that you are going to be the official technical advisor for the Joe Petrali?
I did not do that yet. Leaving that up to you.
Sure. What we decided that somebody who was so into the technical aspects of motorcycles and the engineering and all of that background, and so we asked if Mr. Dr. Harley would like to be the official technical advisor for Joe Petrali, the Joe Petrali company, and our website, and he accepted just today. So
yeah, absolutely.
We're very excited.
I believe in your project because your great uncle did amazing things. And if you love motorcycle and motorcycle history like I do, I really, really dig into the history as much as I can. And, meeting you and learning about your uncle has really sparked more about, Harley Davidson history, the people behind Harley Davidson, like your great uncle Joe, what he did for the company. I think he did more for the company, for Harley Davidson, than Harley Davidson ever did for him. And that's my personal opinion. And I will sit here, change my mind.
Well, yeah, I think you're going to get a lot of comments on that. But if they go to joepetrali.com, they'll learn a lot more about Joe Petrali. He did race for a very short time for Henderson. Also, as you know, for Indian Motorcycle as well. But yeah, he achieved all his greatest feats on Harley Davidson motorcycles, pretty much.
Yep. Now, Jake at H2 Performance, he was on my channel a few weeks ago. He's partnership with the guy on the side chat, Hell's on Two Wheels. They have a business together, and it's all about motorcycle suspension and everything. Great guys. He says that's awesome. What a great partnership that this will be, and I agree with him on that. And the Beard here, they have another channel. It's a very successful channel. It's called Baggers and Brews. I'm sure everybody in the side chat knows about Baggers and Brews. If you ever get a chance, Paul, go ahead and check out Baggers and Brews, and of course H2 Performance. They're doing some great stuff. The H2 Performance is also tied with OF Performance, which is in Ormond Beach, Florida.
Oh, we'll be able to visit then.
Yeah. They're right across the street from the Beaver Bar. So they're easy to find. Right there on, I think that's Route 1 on Ormond Beach, where Beaver Bar and Iron Horse and all them are. They're right across the street, and that's OF Performance.
We've never been to that part of Florida, and we're going to be visiting Florida in February. My wife got me a birthday present, which is 2 tickets to the Daytona 500.
Awesome.
So that's in February. And then from that point, we're going to go into Daytona and make it well known that Joe Petrali is back. And we're going to let Daytona know that we feel that they need to promote Joe Petrali and what he did on that beach in 1937 via merchandise that you will only be able to get in Daytona Beach. You will not be able to get it online or on our website. You can only get it when you're in Daytona. And,
so will that be available during Bike Week?
We will not be there during Bike Week.
No. Will the merchandise be there for Bike Week?
We're hoping it will. If you go into the website and put your email in there, and one of the pages, my wife she's the one that runs the website, and I believe that if you put your email in there, we will let anybody who's really interested in Joe Petrali and the Joe Petrali Foundation as well, you'll be able to find out all of those things where everything can be found. Yep. So
Jake said it'd be awesome to meet you while you're in Daytona, Paul.
Oh, cool. Well, he can keep track of what we're doing. We'll do the same thing. We'll be able to meet up with no problem. Yeah. What about you? You going to be in Daytona?
I'm definitely going to be there for Bike Week. Last year I stayed at the Cackleberry Campground. I'll definitely be back there again in March. I won't be there for the fall rally. I've had a very busy rally season, and funds just aren't letting things allow. I was fortunate enough to get my trip to Milwaukee sponsored, which was awesome. But other than that, I would have gone anyways, but it's been a very expensive year. I've done I'll be doing 5 rallies this year. So I've definitely made the circuit.
Wow.
Ray says seems he needs more recognition because I never heard of this stuff about Joe. Well, Ray, I'm glad you're here. Ray's a good friend of mine. I consider my brother. And Ray, you're hearing it firsthand, right from the descendant's mouth of the great Joe, right from Paul to your ears and everybody else,
Well, I hope that we have ignited some interest in Joe. I think that he, like I had said, he did so many great things for a particular sport that is not as popular as, football, baseball, basketball, and all of that. But it is still, nevertheless, a very popular sport. And we want those that like to race, whether it be on a Harley Davidson or any other bike, to know who Joe Petrali was. We don't want him to be forgotten.
Yeah, and you got to respect what he did. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Thumper, they are from the Orlando area in Florida. They're out in Sturgis right now. It says Bill Peretti has a lot of the motorcycle history and about the Daytona races.
Oh,
So there's
wow.
a name for you.
Good. If they're live right now, were they able to see that beautiful statue of Joe on the bike? It's actually a rendition of what you see in the picture, but it's all solid bronze. Were they able to see that statue on Main Street?
I don't know, Dina, uh, Thumper, did you guys see the statue on Main Street of
Sturgis.
Smoky Joe? Let us know. And if you can, snap a picture of it, put it up on Instagram. I'd like to see it. It's been 13 years since I've been to Sturgis, and it's looking like it's going to be a little while before I get back there. Yep. Gremlin says a lot of us will definitely be there. That is a true story. A lot of us YouTubers will be down there. Becomes a big moto meetup, and we'll hang out, have a good time. So
Cool.
Yeah.
We're going to get around to all of that eventually. The difference between the Joe Petrali company, which is mainly commercial, and the Joe Petrali Foundation that is starting up now is we want a big tribute in the way of a statue or something in Daytona. Because if you are in Daytona, now we've never been there, so we're only basing this on what we know through having conversations and pictures online, but there's nothing on the beach in Daytona to signify that Joe Petrali had done anything there. And so at the time that he was there, he was the world's fastest Harley Davidson.
Wow.
And we're going to change all of that. So that is the number one. We want a street in East Sacramento named Joe Petrali Street. That's number two. At the State Fair in Sacramento, which is the new location that was developed in the early 70s, they have a mile track out there. And the Sacramento Mile, as it's known, is where the flat track takes place there. And that should be named the Joe Petrali Racetrack. And all of your listeners, if they want to find out how they can help get that renamed the Joe Petrali track, they can just contact us via the website. That would be great.
And again, the website is linked in the description below of this video. And the Thumper says, yes, they have a picture of it. So Dina, if you could get me that picture, I would love it. And Joe, I'll forward it on to you if you want. I'm sure you got a picture of it as well, but this would be the most current picture.
Great.
And Jake says, you're right. The racing history needs to be more exposed. And I agree with him. And it's already in my Instagram. Awesome. I'm going to pull it right up because, they sent 4 photos.
You're getting a lot of photos.
Yeah, that is real cool. Dina, Thumper, thank you very much for sending me those. Joe, I will forward you these either later tonight or tomorrow morning if you want them, of course. I'm more than happy to do that. So, yeah. So, what's next beyond Daytona for the Joe Petrali project?
Well, directly next, I believe my wife is making dinner, and we'll have that. But so we're kind of in a lull right now. We do have Daytona coming up. That's going to be a while in February, but we are going to be visiting with the state of California about renaming that racetrack. We're also going to be visiting. Shout out to Sacramento Harley Davidson on Arden Way. They've been very supportive of our project. And right now, we really did have our biggest meetings, which were just a few weeks ago in Chicago and in Daytona. Or I'm sorry, not Daytona, but in Milwaukee. And Also, a shout out. We did visit the Legends Motorcycle Complex just outside of Provo, Utah. That
Hmm.
is an amazing place that any biker should stop if they're going through that area at all. It is just a phenomenal museum. You can get a tattoo, you can get a haircut, you can get food, you can get Italian food, which is really nice.
You got me
And
at food.
you can ride the Ferris wheel, and but then you can see an amazing museum that they have there at Legends. So for all of those that you think you're going to be passing through Utah, visit Legends. They're just on the outside of Provo, Utah. It's definitely worth a stop. I would stay overnight and see if you can get a new tattoo there.
Yeah. When my wife and I went out to the Harley Museum in 2019, we literally spent from the time the doors opened to we got kicked out on Saturday at the museum. And then we went back Sunday morning, had breakfast at the motor bar, and then spent another 4 hours in that museum and still didn't get to see everything right in Milwaukee. That's a great museum. It really is. All about, there's some original Bill Harley drawings in there of designs of the engines, the flatheads, the knucklehead. There's all sorts of stuff. There's new old stock all over the place. It's really amazing what they have. Uh, and if you could get into the archives area, where if you know where the tank wall is, you go straight down to the elevator and you go up one floor, you get off, and you're in the archive area, and you can't get behind the glassed in areas, but you can see just about everything. And it's amazing. I loved it there. I think the archives room, I think I spent a good 3 hours there.
Wow.
And
Well, we have a lot to do to be able to meet our goals that we have set for the Joe Petrali Foundation. We also are, as a foundation, we're going to be raising money for young motorcycle racers that maybe need a little bit of help with a new suit or a helmet, or I don't think we'll be buying them motorcycles anytime soon, but
right.
we will definitely help them in any way we can to make sure that they stay on the track, on the bike, and keep that sport alive.
Yeah. Paying it forward. That's awesome.
That's
You
right.
know, if everybody just paid it forward, whatever their talents are, or wherever life brings them, this world would be a better place, in my opinion.
I agree with you, brother.
You know, and Joe, we're coming up on an. I'm sorry, I did it again, Paul. We're coming up on an hour. 57 minutes here. Goes by fast, doesn't it?
It sure does.
And so I'm going to leave you with a final thought or a comment you want to make to everybody. Again, the Joe Petrali website is linked in the description, as well as Paul's and his wife's YouTube channel, which is about wines and everything. But there's that one video at the Knievel Museum, which is it's a recommend watch by me. And his son has got a really cool website. It's all about scary stories and things like that, and that's also linked down there. If you get a chance, check them out when you do. Paul, the floor is yours.
Well, I want to thank you once again for giving me this time. Wow, it just got really big on me, so it makes me a little nervous. But so as you know, joepetrali.com is just a startup. You're going to find a lot more information about my great uncle Joe and his accomplishments, some really cool stories about him as well. And so I'm just very pleased that we were able to meet you. We're able to work together, and you're going to be able to answer a lot more questions technically about Harley-Davidson motors and engines and their development from 100 years ago until now. So with that, I would just say hopefully we'll see a lot of people visit our website. And there is one other thing on California Swirls. That's one word. we also did a episode about the Evergreen Aviation and Space Museum, and it covers the Spruce Goose quite well. And you'll be able to meet my lovely wife, Linda Petrali. And with that, I want to thank you for your time.
No, thank you for coming on and your time. I really appreciate it. Normally at this time, I open it up to an open mic night. If you want to hang out, you're more than welcome to. I'm sure some people might have some questions to ask you directly. If you don't mind, maybe give them 10 or 15 minutes of your time. I know you're very busy.
Absolutely. I can hang out.
All right, guys. Here is the link. If you have a question or a comment you want to make to Paul about his Uncle Joe or great Uncle Joe or Smoky Joe, not smoking, Smoky, like Smoky the Bear, Joe Petrali. And you got to get it right because, got to respect the man for what he did and for the man that he was. So there's the link. It's open mic night. Come on and talk to Paul. Let's dig his brain a little bit.
Sure.
I think we covered everything that you emailed me and your wanted chat list.
So I'm not exactly how this works, but is somebody just going to chime in?
Yeah, when they'll chime in, they'll be in the green room, and I'll add them to the screen.
Okay, sure.
My wife says, "Thank you, Paul." She's a history buff as well, and she loves Harley Davidson by default.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome, Mel.
I'm in the bunk in my truck, so it'll be not so exciting on my end. That's all right, Zen. It's all right. A lot of these guys, like the Thumpers, they're in Sturgis right now. That's a great statue of your great Uncle Joe that they sent me the pictures of, and I will definitely be forwarding those to you. I don't want to do it now, take away from anything. So don't be scared, everybody. I know you got questions. I know you have a comment or you want to say something to Paul and I. Feel free to do so. Here's the link. It's an open mic night. Feel free to jump on in. But like I was saying to you when we first met, and after I learned about your great uncle, that he and I paralleled our lives together. Him with his racing, and I did some racing. His need for speed on two wheels, my need for speed on two wheels, and then his time in aviation, and I had time in aviation. That I feel that our lives paralleled at a different time and space. That's what really drags me in to the whole thing about your great uncle is, okay, I'm not the gentleman that he was, but, I'm into motorcycling and speeds and aviation, and so is your great uncle. And I just see a lot of similarities there that really drew me in. Actually, I was drawn in. That was the hook that got me into, really researching your great uncle throughout the internet and the joepetrali.com website. And just there's a trove of stuff out there. Of course, thousands of pictures that are for sale, but I wouldn't buy one without, saying, is it authentic from your foundation? Which I think I will buy one and hang up in my shop.
Well, we'll have to talk about that later as far as, we'll probably give you a 1% discount on some things. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Awesome. I like discounts.
So did you tell your listeners what else you and I have in common?
Both love wine.
There's more.
Oh, hold on. Face Mullet, who's Dallas, he's in Tennessee. He says, does Paul, do you ride? And if you do, what do you ride?
Yes, I do ride, as a matter of fact. Hey, how are you?
Hey, Paul, how's it going?
H2 Performance, as I like
going well.
H2 State Farm.
So I'm gonna tie your my answer to your question with what he is forgetting about, but the first thing I ever rode was a 1981 Kawasaki 440 LTD, and I loved that motorcycle. I loved it, but I got married and had a little baby and had to trade that in for a car. Moving on, my next motorcycle is a 2003 100-year anniversary black and silver V-Rod. So I know that there's some controversy about that bike, which I wholeheartedly don't agree with, but that V-Rod is just the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I had to have it. And now I do have it. And I do know that if Joe Petrali was alive today, he would have a V-Rod, no question about it. But
Probably the muscle, the V-Rod muscle.
Yeah, that's right. He probably kept going, but that's what I ride. It fits me perfect. It's such a fun, fast, wonderful bike to ride, and that's what I ride. How about yourself?
Me, I ride a 2020 Lowrider S that's on some serious steroids that should be illegal. The major problem I have with that bike is keeping traction to the back tire, which is not a bad problem to have, even in sixth gear. I have a hard time keeping traction on it. And then I have a 2022 CVO Road Glide, which is stock for now. I always said I was going to leave it stock. It's our touring bike, but I ordered a stage 2 kit for it yesterday. So I'll be putting a cam in it and, making it go good. Or make it go better, because after I get off my Softail, I jump on my Road Glide. I'm like, man, this thing is so slow. And I look down, I'm doing 90.
We're going to be riding to Fast Fridays in a couple of days. That's the small race that we have locally. Me and probably a dozen friends. We're all going to be taking off on our bikes, and not one of them is able to keep up with me. If they had to, they couldn't. But Jake, what do you ride?
Well, Paul, I just got a 2023 Lowrider S a few months back, and
brand new.
Came off of it is a brand new bike.
Wow.
Came off of a 21 883, and boy, what a night and day difference that is.
Wow.
Going from an 883 to a 117, I'm still fairly new into the motorcycle community. So November will be 2 years that I've been riding. And man, that was a good step up. So it's stock right now. But
a history lesson tonight too, Jake.
What's that?
You got a heck of a history lesson tonight too.
Oh my gosh, yes. I've always had an interest in racing. And of course, as I've gotten into the motorcycles, the racing aspect from that has come through. And so getting to hear about Joe is just absolutely fascinating. And, I just wanted to pop in real quick and introduce myself, but also say thank you for coming and sharing the history of your great uncle there.
Well, you're welcome, Jake. And of course, thanks to the doc. And I'm glad that you enjoyed this. So when you're screaming by on your hog, what town is that going to be in?
So I actually live in Titusville or Cape Canaveral area. So just about an hour south of Daytona. So it's nothing for me to hop on the highway and jet up there. And so I'll absolutely have to get up there and do some more of the history of Daytona with the racing and all that up there.
And make sure
we can use you as an ambassador up there.
Okay.
What was that?
I said, and when you're talking to the racetracks and other racers up in the Daytona area, that make sure you drop the name Joe Petrali. Let them know who Joe was if they don't know.
Absolutely.
Right. Keep in touch with us, and we'll let you know what's going on up there. Maybe we can meet out at Joe's Crab Shack on the pier.
Yeah, that would be awesome, Paul. I'd love to meet up with you guys.
So, Jake, question
Sure.
for you. What are you wearing?
It's a blockhead shirt.
No, it should be khakis. The correct answer is khakis.
Oh yeah. I've always got my khakis on tap. Come on now. But
Well, one thing that you missed out, Doc, was both Doc and I, Jake, are veterans.
okay,
And he was in the Army and I was in the Navy.
Yeah.
Navy.
That immediately glues us together right there.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually quite ironic because I'm in the knee-deep Navy.
You're in the Coast Guard.
I sure am. Yep.
He's
Hey,
a
well,
puddle
thank you
pirate.
for your service, Jake.
Thank you as well.
Wow, likewise.
You're in trouble now, Jake.
So,
Oh man, here comes Dad.
Paul, me, Hell's on Two Wheels. He's the owner of H2 Performance. I consider him a brother. I hung out with him last year in Daytona. What a great dude. He's got a beautiful performance bagger right currently, and it's a beautiful bike. It's a trophy winner in Daytona, and it was unveiled at the Chromeworks tent during Bike Week at the very beginning. Hells, meet Paul. Paul, meet Hells.
How's
Hey,
it going,
pleasure
Paul?
to meet you. Nice to meet you, Hells. So what's going on? What? Go ahead, Hells.
I was going to tell Doc it used to be a fast bagger till I pulled it apart today.
What'd you do to it?
I didn't do anything to it.
What Tweedle do to it?
He looked at it. No, it's the same lifter as I had last time. So chewed the cam, everything again.
Wow.
Yeah.
What lifters did you have?
These I put the Screaming Eagle racing lifters in this one.
Try Woods.
Yeah, I talked to Bob about it. I'm waiting for him to get back from Sturgis. So
Yeah. I've had nothing but good luck with Woods lifters, and they have a new lifter coming out, based on performance. And I don't want to be the guinea pig on my road bike with them. So,
well, I might as well put them in since I R&D everything else. We'll see how much it'll last.
yeah. Hells is also a partner in OF Performance in Ormond Beach.
Jake's a part of that. Jake's part of H2 and OF. And all
Breaking
that.
up a little bit, Doc. Did you say Hells is in Ormond Beach?
No, he's a partner to, and so is Jake, of H2 Performance and also OF Performance, which is down in Ormond Beach.
Yeah. H2.
Oh, I see.
H2 is
Okay, so
suspension, and OF is more motor work, big motor builds.
cool.
Yep.
Well, we're going to be moving down to Florida, possibly beginning at this time next year. We're going to stay there anywhere from 2 to 3 years for obvious reasons to promote my uncle. And if we like it, we're going to stay. And so what do you guys think about that?
That would be awesome. We'd love to have you down here.
That's a thumbs up from Hells. I'm talking to my wife right now. She's giving me the motion that she's getting hungry for dinner. So anyway, that's cool, Jake. Well, we're really looking forward to seeing you. And Doc, we're going to go take you up on that invitation to go up to Connecticut and drink that famous wine that they make in Connecticut.
Yep. Bring it to a couple different.
But you never know. Well, that would be fantastic.
Yep. And, take you to a couple different ones. And I would love to hear your honest opinion. You just got to remember, It's not Sonoma Valley wine.
Well, yeah, no, we've tasted wine all over the country. And the one thing we do know is that without a doubt, sorry, motorcycle guys, let's talk wine for only 30 more seconds. But without a doubt, California, what we believe makes the best wine in the world. And Italy, France, and Spain will argue with us, but we don't care. Anyway, we did taste wines all over the country, especially in the middle of the country in Missouri and in Kansas. And their tasting rooms are amazing. The people are unbelievably friendly and very proud of their wines. And that's all I'll have to say about that.
Right on.
Sure.
Right on.
That's good. I could use a few wine lessons. My wife, she adores wine, so I could learn a thing or two.
Well, the only time my wife likes wine is when she's awake.
It's like the only time you drink is alone or with somebody.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question for Hells. What's your thoughts about that V-Rod?
I like it.
Yeah.
But I'm crazy. I'm a guy with need for speed. So
yeah. It's really fast, but it doesn't feel like it when you're just cruising around. I live in a private community, and you cannot go more than 25 miles an hour there because the deer are everywhere, and it just feels like it's just putting along, no problem. Get it out onto the highway, and it just shoots out like a rocket. It's just amazing. That kind of power and the speed that it has, not necessarily that you have to use it, but knowing that you can is wonderful. Plus, it fits me. Like if you see that picture behind me, that's how I feel on my V-Rod. Of course, I'm not hiding behind the, the fairing that they have there, but it's just an amazing feeling to be on one of those. And I'm going to say right now, if my friends are watching, and they are all baggers, almost all of them are baggers, I know that they're envious and they want to get on that V-Rod. Only one has said that he wanted to try it out. But anyway, we'll have to see. After they see this, they'll say, I don't need to get on your bike. I'm cool. But that's not true. I know they want to get on it.
The only design flaw I have with the V-Rod is you got to lift the seat to fill the gas tank.
What's next, Doc?
As far as now, it's open
Kind of
mic
chopping
night.
up a little bit.
It's an open mic night. It's there's nothing scheduled after you and I chatted. It's just everybody come on in and talk and have some fun.
Cool. How many of you fellas have seen Harley and the Davidsons?
Oh, I have.
I have not. I need to go find it.
I think we lost Jake. Hells?
No, I put him in the green room. He hasn't watched that movie.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, I got put in timeout.
Yep. You got put
Doc, you got to remember, I'm still young in the industry here, so I know I've got some homework to do.
It's a must watch.
I'll go find it. I'll have it soon.
It is.
It's very well done.
Well, it's not easy to find. That's why I brought that up.
Yep. It's a very well documented theatrical of Harley Davidson's history, of how they started, where they came from, and where they were right into 1936. And it's awesome.
So, am I to get this right that Jake and Hells are father and son? Is that right?
Not biological.
I'm not
Jeez.
that old. and again, Hells, where are you located?
He's having some technical difficulties.
Just like I was earlier.
Yep.
You know what's funny is we get a lot of power outages in California in the summertime because it's so damn hot, or
Yep.
a fire is burning everybody up. But this time it was simply the battery.
Yeah. So, Hells, Paul wants to know where you're located.
Right now, I am in between Dayton and Cincinnati, Ohio.
And you're driving. Is that correct?
No,
No.
we're camping out.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Well, I was going to say, we have a good amount of the Blu-ray Harley and the Davidsons, the whole collection. So if you want to send me an email, and that would be paul@joepetrali.com, we'll make you an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah. That way I can school Jake on this.
I'm
Jake
actually
will
looking
be-
for it right now.
Jake is not wearing his khakis tonight.
No, I had to give
You
those a
wear
rest.
khakis in the Coast Guard?
Yeah, that's when they let me off my leash.
You gotta
So
remember,
what is your actual job description in the Coast Guard? What do you do?
I'm a gunner's mate.
Dang, you're always
Yeah.
at war, brother.
You are not kidding.
so
Yeah.
you mate with the gunner? Hopefully,
No, I'm-
female.
No, I'm the guy that gives everybody all the guns.
So you said you were a knee-deep sailor? Was that?
Knee deep Navy. Yep, that's one of those like puddle pirate and
Puddle pirate.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
was
gotta
going to
get
say
the-
puddle pirate.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
the
had
truth
to-
is, the Coast Guard is always at war.
Oh, yeah, it's there's lots of things going on right now in multiple different parts of the country and international waters and all that. So
Oh, especially
Yeah,
up in
it's,
Alaska right now.
yeah, Alaska, down in the Florida Straits in the Caribbean,
Yeah, there's
a lot of
cocaine
migrant
and stuff.
ops. Yeah, drugs and migrants down there. So
Don't give up OPSEC.
yeah, that's all easy. That you can find all that on the internet.
Yeah.
So I ride a desk right now anyway, so I'm not in any of that fun stuff.
Well, so what model desk do you have? No, I'm just kidding.
It's a Honda.
Hmm.
Shoot, half the time it's a truck out there.
Well, I've never ridden a Honda in my life, but I know that they all make really great motorcycles. I would love to hop on a Triumph one day.
I am on here.
You're on there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi,
Yeah,
Chris.
I'm live.
Hey. Oh, shit.
He's
Just got
camping.
real.
Oh my gosh. My phone was messing up, so I switched to the computer.
There you go.
Cool. Well,
But
that's
no.
great.
Yeah, Jake's a puddle pirate. I was chair force. So
Who was that? Hells?
yeah, hell's that was me. I was Air Force. So
So wow, we got all. Who are we missing? We're
Marines.
missing my nephew.
Marines.
the crayon
Yeah.
eaters.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, I got something for you guys. You never seen this.
All right.
Let's see if this works, hon. We're gonna get it closer. I don't know if you can see that, but that's Popeye.
Oh, that's
Stretching his arm out there.
And that tattoo goes right into my fist.
Ha
That's Popeye's fist. And right there, it says BT. I was a boiler technician in the Navy. I made steam on a World War II battleship, USS New Jersey. And I made steam on a fast frigate, the Rathburn in Pearl Harbor. And then we used to
I was on
send the
that
new
ship.
guys,
It was
or
very-
they would send the new guys down to the fire room. You were on what ship?
The New Jersey. It's a museum piece now in southern Jersey, and
Campion.
I actually went. Yep,
Right.
and I toured it. And then a few months later, I met a gentleman who was on that ship when it was off the coast of Was it Bosnia or Beirut? And he actually
Beirut.
has the charging shells when they fire the guns into Beirut.
Wow.
That was pretty cool.
That would be hard to get off of the ship and off of the base, but kudos for him for being able to get
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Um, Yep, that was Ronald Reagan's hood ornament, and we were constantly polishing brass on that ship. But I was down in the fire room where it was loud.
Yeah, you had the admiral on that
and
ship
dirty.
too. Wasn't there an admiral station to that?
Yeah,
ship?
his name was Ronald Reagan. Everybody and their brother was on that ship. I mean, it was the first one that they brought back from mothballs. When Reagan said, "I've had enough of this guy in the Soviet Union, and we're going to teach him a couple things," and he did. And so anyway, that I always say that was the most ugliest thing I ever saw in the morning walking to that ship, because of what it required to just be on that ship. It was the most beautiful thing I ever saw when you were leaving it, going home. Wonderful. But I was able to visit that ship in Camden in 1994, and it was very surreal to have to pay $17 to go on the same ship that I used to work on.
I got paid to work on
it. Yeah, I think it was $3 an hour at the time.
Yeah. So, Hells, you're headed off to bed?
No. So Tweedle made a comment, and he's like, he couldn't get a reaction out of me like he normally does. And I told him we have a good guest on tonight, so I'm going to be on my good behavior. So.
Oh, okay.
He's on his good behavior, and he's got a squid and an old ex-army. And you don't have to be on your good behavior, brother. Trust me.
Nope. Tweedledee likes riding. Isn't that the bronze chicken, the grocery getter?
Yep. That fire chicken he likes to ride around on. And hey, so have you let it out what you sent to me today about your stage 2 that you're going to do?
I let out that I purchased one. I had go into details.
I'm making sure I'm not going to drop the details.
I'm not. I have nothing to hide. If anybody wants to know, I'll let everybody know here what I purchased for my roguelite. I know I said I was going to leave it stock, but me being the horsepower junkie that I am, just can't leave things alone. So,
well, shoot, I'm interested. What you got going on?
Well, I ordered an S&S cam plate and oil pump with the S&S cam chain tensioner, the S&S lifter blocks, Fuel Moto 2-in-1 header that's catless.
You went to S&S lifter blocks?
Yeah.
You didn't hit to tap it right up? Jeez.
Well, it's cost. Hell, it's cost.
All right, keep going, Doc.
All right. I got an AIN variable rate pressure plate for the clutch because I'm going to be adding more horsepower. So I don't want to buy a performance clutch, and they've always seemed to work well for me. And I put a camshaft. It's a Cyclorama cam. It's the 480. It's a drop-in cam. It's the largest drop-in cam that you can get. So I don't have to play around with adjustable push rods or nothing like that. So just drop it in with all the other Go Fast goodies, and I got a tuner. So, and I got it all from Fuel Moto, and they're going to be dropping a map on there for me, and away I go.
So you're 130 stage 2 setup.
Probably.
I was going to say, you kept going. He said AIM. I was like, you've been on Fuel Moto's website because that's.
Oh wait, and I also got the S&S aluminum intake manifold with the 5.5 gram injectors.
You still running a 55 mil throttle body?
Yeah, I'm going to stay at 55.
Okay.
I'm not going to go up to 64. No need for that. For now.
No, it's a good point because talking to some people, because we have a build that's going to Georgia over the weekend to run against Moon Pie's build, because the owner of that build in Georgia, he couldn't believe that we could get the same numbers, same power that dealership did, and it's like he couldn't understand that sometimes the biggest cam is not the best setup. There's such a thing as if you're not set up to run that big of a cam, it'll actually hurt you.
Yeah.
We couldn't get that through his head.
Yeah.
I
So,
thought bigger was always better.
no.
Well, for puddle pirates, yes.
Yeah, bigger pontoon boats always better to do.
Bigger motors for the pontoon boats.
Just so everybody knows, I don't just sit there and say, oh, that cam's the biggest cam I could fit. That's the one I'm going to get. No, I break out the calculator and I do the math for the lift and duration with the compression ratio, the fuel rate I'm getting with the injectors and all that, the type of flow I'm anticipating with the exhaust.
Mm-hmm.
I do all the calculations. It's a mathematical nightmare. And it took me a day and a half. It was between the 470, the 480 cam, and a Star 3030. And I sat there and says, you know what? I've had such good luck with my Cyclorama cam and Spaceball. I'm going to stick with Cyclorama again. One, they're not as well known. Two, they make a really good product. And I have no complaints with it in Spaceball, so I'm going to go with it for my Road Glide. And, after the calculations came out, the difference between the 470 and the 480 is I'll actually get a little bit more torque out of the 480 than I would the 470. And I'm a horsepower junkie, but I'm completely addicted to torque. I like to crack that throttle and get put in my place.
Yeah, 470. That's what's in Tweedle's build is a 470. It's a strong cam. I like it. It's a good solid all around cam. That's why we're talking. He was asking what the difference between his 470 and your 480, and I was like, Doc's is more of a torque cam, yours more of a horsepower cam.
So if that mic makes about 125 at the tire, I'll be happy for horsepower, because I really don't chase horsepower numbers. I like to get the most torque out of it as I can.
What exhaust did you say you were running on that?
I got the
did you get the jackpot?
It's a 2-into-1. It's a 2. I always like that style. Because I have the extended bags, and a 2-in-1 wouldn't look good on extended bags with that one hole cut out. And I don't want to play around with a dummy pipe. Let's see.
Paul's like, what in the world? Doc and I like to get into these conversations like this.
Yeah. Yeah. You get Hells and I talking about motor builds and things like that, and we'll keep you busy for hours.
I'm just a student. I'm always loving to get around people and just get.
I got the jackpot head pipe.
Yeah.
So, Hells, what do you think about the idea of Dr. Harley being the technical advisor for the Joe Petrali company?
I'm envious, and I'm happy for my friends to have opportunities like that. To be honest,
Well, he's got a lot of work ahead of him because learning all about those engines from 100 years ago, people are going to want to know. And I think that Doc is the right guy to fill that position. There's so much fun resources to find out about those engines. And there's a lot of talk about the engine that you can see behind me in that photo. Are all the parts of that engine really there in the museum in Milwaukee? Or some of those parts somewhere in California? And there's so much talk about that bike in Milwaukee is not complete, where they argued with me a little bit, but I know pretty much where the parts are on that bike, including parts of the engine. The entire engine is not complete in Milwaukee, and it's going to be fun to see if we can challenge Doc to find the parts of that engine that's behind me and where they're all located, because in one central location, that information cannot be found. Some will tell you one thing, some will tell you the other, but I believe that eventually the final word will come from Doc if he's up to the challenge.
In my 30 hours a day that I have, I will spend some time to look for it. But just so you know, I'm looking to build a 60s style chopper, and I partnered up with a veterans organization here in Connecticut. It's called Homes for the Brave, and I'm building it, trying to get everything donated to build this bike, and giving it to them to raffle off to raise money to support homeless veterans. So I'm building my dream bike to give away, and part of the dream of that bike is a knucklehead engine. I know getting an authentic Harley Davidson knuckle is more than impossible. More than impossible. So,
well, we'll help you out. Will the tank have an American flag on it?
It could. The tank is actually a 1.2 gallon coffin style tank. I have a fuel tank for it.
What style suspension you gonna run with that?
Rigid.
Ooh.
Either a girder front end or Springer. 1960s style. Think 1960s. Rigid back end, either Springer or girder
no
front
middle
end.
finger, right?
No.
I think you missed
That's
that,
back
right,
when
Doc?
people didn't care about
Go
their
over your head.
backs.
No middle finger?
No. Nope, not at all. And
Doc, I'm referring to the famous picture of Peter Fonda.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, no. If somebody who wins that bike, I know they're going to sell a limited amount of tickets, and they're going to be $100 a piece. So one lucky winner, depending on how many tickets they buy, they could get a bike that's valued between $40,000 and $70,000 for $100 or $1,000 or 10,000. If someone wants to buy 10 tickets or 100 tickets.
I have to yell out to my wife right now what's in the budget.
I was going to say, can we retrofit?
Lowbrow Customs sent me the fuel tank and gas cap. Deadbeat Customs sent me a pair of yellow headlights, some chopper grips, and a whole bunch of current but looks like old cloth covered wires to make my wiring harness.
What about the seat?
I'm thinking king queen seat with a tall sissy bar with the exhaust that follows up behind the sissy bar. I also played around with the idea.
How about a brand new
of
Corbin seat?
Yeah.
Yep.
Corbin. That would be sweet.
I'm a huge Corbin fan. That's all I run.
Same here. I had them on my crotch rockets in the past. I do want to get a nice Corbin seat for my Lowrider S eventually, because that Saddleman just kills me.
Well, I can get you the
I got to
seat.
get a Corbin.
I've been playing around with the idea of running spark plugs and have it run a little rich and have the wire on a micro switch that when you're at 3/4 throttle, it activates it, a little spark in the tailpipe, so it shoots flames out the back. So I have a lot of planning put into this bike. Like I said, I'm building my dream bike to give to
Doc,
veterans
I
organization.
have to take the wife to dinner. If
Okay. Paul, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Hey, Ray.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Ray?
Very nice to meet you, Paul.
got a new
Hey,
guy.
Paul's leaving.
Hi, Ray. Well, not now. Ray's here.
There you
okay.
go. No, I was going to jump on earlier, but I had my wife was cooking and stuff like that, so I didn't want to make noise.
I hear you. Thanks for coming on, Ray.
Yeah.
Good to see you, buddy.
What I was going to say was I'd seen something in Daytona, and that's what I was telling Jake earlier, that it's not really promoted a lot, that racing and that history. I did see a special one time. There's some kind of cafe down there where they it's like the cafe or the store had been there, for those many years of that racing that they did. But yeah, I think it'll be good to try to, get notification on Joe, because like I said, when I was in Daytona, there's not a lot of stuff on that kind of racing and things like that. So I just like I said, I've seen pictures of the statue in Sturgis and stuff like that, but I've never really heard the things that you were saying tonight. I've never really heard all that from anywhere, about him. So,
Hey, the Marine just showed up. Hello, Everyday Saturday.
so I'm glad you got to share, some of your family history. You know what I mean?
It's an amazing family history.
Well, I'm glad you
Sounds
enjoyed
good.
that, Ray.
Oh yeah.
So would you not agree that Joe Petrali is not represented well enough in Daytona? Has he set the
Yeah.
record?
Oh yeah.
on that
I would
sand?
agree.
And
Yes.
mainly
Yes.
all
I
they
would
have
agree.
is,
I mean, I think they have
well,
now I may be mistaken.
Daytona, we'll
But,
be seeing you, Jake.
yeah, I may be mistaken.
I'll be
but
here.
I think they had some kind of little plaques or something down there. It's not much, it's not, and I don't even know if he was on it, So yeah, he's not. I don't think
Outside
he's
where
represented.
we're all. No, not outside. They have really nice memorials there at the Hilton, right there near the sand. But in the museum at the Daytona Speedway, there is a very small mention of him, a small little plaque in his name. But for setting the record on the sand for Harley Davidson and all the things he did, that simply won't do. So, yeah, we're going to spend a lot of time in Daytona making sure that he's represented the way that he should be. And then, in the evening, having a beer with Jake.
There you
Looking
go.
forward to it.
Are you old enough to drink, Jake?
Hey, man. Hey, I know I don't look like it.
I mean, they do let 18-year-olds in the military. I mean,
God, to be 18 again, huh?
yeah.
Hey, Jake, you'll have to take him up to the OF and then introduce him to Doug.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to meet Doug at OF, and that'll be in March.
My wife has given a thumbs up for Jake.
Does she
I like
know
her
he's
already.
state farm?
Because he's a baby. Look at him.
Look, man, I know I'm out of the place here with no beard, okay, but I'm working on it.
Well, you
It's
still got
okay.
the DOD or the.
It's all right, Jake. You're one of us,
Homeland
brother.
Security collar on.
That's right.
Yeah,
If you
it'll
can't
be,
tell, Paul, we like to, we goof off.
But just a bunch of bikers cutting it up, having a good time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, if you hear them talk about me,
No,
I'm
the way I
a
look at it is
broadcast
after-
news guy.
hey, Doc, we were talking Corbin.
Yep.
We just
Ray,
have
you are?
Corbin seats laying around.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
that'd be nice to go on my Ultra Classic.
I gotta get one for mine.
I wouldn't mind trying them. I just can't afford them.
That's a nice seat. Well, actually, Mike Corbin is a good friend of mine. Did I tell you that, Doctor?
No.
Doc, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Well, Mike Corbin is a good friend of mine, actually. So your seat is a done deal. So work on something else.
Well, tell him that you met a guy that is a huge fan that will run nothing but Corbin. So
I
I
will.
tell
His
tell
name is
people-
Hells.
yeah, I tell people all the time, I've ran everybody's seat, and until they go and get on a Corbin, they will not understand what a good seat is until they run on a Corbin.
Now, hell, you on Blue Spades,
Right.
Corbin seat, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. You know how we are. We'll smash.
Why don't we
thousands
ask Mike to develop a? Shouldn't we ask Mike
What's
to develop a new seat called the DD214?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Except
Corbin
that,
seat.
Yep, you can get a DD214 in any model motorcycle.
There you
I
go.
would order it because that'd be a hilarious joke. Yeah, I got my DD214.
Take it with me everywhere.
Yep.
Hey, that's not really fair to Jake right now. That's kind of mean to Jake.
Nah, Paul, it's all right. Mine is right around the corner.
Oh no.
Let's
We're gonna need you to do another 6.
No. I need Jake around.
Let's see. I have
Yeah.
5 DD214s.
You got to stop buying those on eBay.
Yeah.
No. When you deploy with the National Guard, when you leave active duty to go back to your end day status,
Oh,
they give you a DD214.
that's right. Them weekend warriors.
That's
You gotta
right.
watch
I have
out for.
Yeah, I deployed
I
more
have 2
with the
DD214.
National Guard than I did with the 82nd Airborne Division.
I'm just glad you didn't get pissed off. Most people want to make that weekend warrior joke. They get all like butt hurt about it.
Nah, I don't get hurt about it.
Oh,
I know what I did. I know what my unit has done, and
No, they're well connected.
that's it.
All right. Well, hey guys, I'm gonna sign out. And Ray and Hells and Jake, thanks for sticking around.
Hey, yes,
with
sir.
Me in the dock. And if you guys send an email, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on, Paul.
My wife wants pizza.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Great evening.
Thanks, Doc.
Enjoy
I'll be
California.
talking to you later, right, brother?
You got it. Anytime, man.
Okay.
Take care.
Stay safe, guys.
Yes,
You
sir.
too. Well, that was Paul Petrali.
dude, that
Actually
was
went-
awesome.
That went good, Doc. Yeah, that was awesome.
That guy is what a wealth of information. If you're a Harley fan and you're into speed, you're into racing, motorcycles. When I met this guy in Milwaukee, I was like, I was just like in awe, and I had to get him on this channel because the information that he has, the organization that he's doing for his great uncle, I got to help spread the word because his great uncle did so many amazing things in the past, that it's still applicable and applicable today in the future. Hey, he's still here.
He's still
Yeah.
He's still eating pizza.
Oh, there he goes. He's gone.
I can't
So-
I can't wait to get up with him and get to meet him. That's going to be awesome.
He's a great dude. He really is. He's a motorcycle enthusiast himself. He's a wealth of knowledge as far as his great uncle goes. At Milwaukee during the 120th, he actually had a sit down meeting with Harley Davidson.
Wow.
Yeah, during the big party, they're having a meeting all about his great uncle, Smoky Joe.
Yeah, I'll have to
just
get
like
up
you
with
said,
you.
though. Yeah, just like you
He
said,
missed
he
one.
probably done more for them than they did for him. So
Yep. And he missed one key point. One of his championships, he locked it up 2/3 of the way through the season because he won every race.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
I'll have to
Won
get up
every
with you,
race.
Doc, to get
2/3
his
of the
email.
way through the season, he locked up the season championship.
should be in the Doc should put it in the description. Hopefully, the email.
Yep.
Or just shoot him.
Actually, in the description is the website.
I was gonna say, Joe.
Within there is the email as well.
Okay, I'll grab it from the. There we go.
What are you doing? Starting to use parts section?
It looks like it.
Let's see. I got that laying here. I got this fender. What else I got?
Looks like that robot off Transformers, that little mini one.
I got custom dynamics lights.
He's going to build him an
There we go.
R2D2, Doc.
There you go. Hold on. I got something for you, Hells.
I even got handlebars.
A C3PO is going to be walking around and hell's his place.
Like, I got so many freaking Road Glide parts laying in this camper.
Yeah. So when you get a new one, you won't need to order anything.
That's what Crystal said.
Shit.
I mean, I got a full Chromeworks exhaust. I'm like, dude, we don't need to buy anything. I just put the bike together for you.
Yeah.
Hey, Hells. I'm not trying to piss you off, but I got something here for you. A couple things actually.
Oh yeah. That's a
Yeah. It
cam.
looks like a shiny metal cam.
Yeah, that's not chewed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brand spanking new.
Hey, hang on. I got a part for you right here.
Now I'm really gonna piss you off, Hells.
Did you look at that picture I sent you of that lifter?
Yeah.
That's. Oh yeah.
Looks like some crack pipes.
Yeah, fuck you.
Well, you don't want these. These are Screaming Eagle.
That's why I'm having this as Screaming Eagle.
Right. And they'll just fail again.
No, Doc. The thing is it's not failed. Okay, it rolls. It's not bad. It's like the material, the metal material on the actual roller face has delaminated.
Okay. Do you want those lifters?
What lifters?
The Screaming Eagles.
Well, yeah. If you're not going to use them, I'll take them because I'm going to have to replace these when I do this cam swap.
Do you want the Screaming Eagle cam that came out of my 131?
No, because I got a new cam I'm going to try.
Oh, okay.
I told you I've been talking to Mr. Woods. I
So
told you
get me your address.
I'll be a guinea pig.
Get me your address, and I'll ship these right out to you.
Yeah, if there's nothing wrong with them, I'll put them in.
No, dude. They're oily.
Oh, that's a good thing. Oh, dude. That thing's hardly even been touched. It's the thing that's driving us nuts is it's the same lifter every time and the same exact problem every time.
Let me guess. Back cylinder, inboard?
Yep. Rear cylinder intake
How did I guess?
because it's a fucking problem. Rear cylinder intake.
I would suggest measure the bore for your lifters, and you could get a hold of Kevin Baxter. He actually sells oversized lifters depending on your bore of your lifter hole. That might be part of your problem.
Well, we did that last time because they have the Kevin uses them too. They're like you slide them in to get your board. What size board? You can take different
Indicator. Dial
Yep.
indicator.
They're made by gyms.
Yeah, they're made by gyms. You just slide
Yep,
them
Kevin Baxter and gyms developed them.
in. Yeah. And we did that last time and nothing. Like it was right. Like everything's right. That's what's driving us nuts. Everything is right. So what are we missing with the problem?
And you got your tap it rights on there, or
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, that's what's driving me nuts. It's like it's not like we're throwing. It's not like we just rip this apart and throw it back together all the time. No, like we're like going through this thing with a fine tooth comb, and like everything is right. So what is causing this problem?
Too many rolling burnouts?
I was gonna say you're the way you write it.
Well, good. Somebody built a fucking product that will survive me, and nobody would have a problem.
Listen, I don't think God can make a product that could survive you. He came close with Crystal, though.
Yeah,
The question is, will you survive Crystal?
Doc, you nailed it right on the head right there.
Hey Doc, so I saw something interesting today.
Don't
Fueling,
I don't want to hear
actually.
about you dropping your pants and finding.
I was gonna say I don't want to hear no
No,
seagull
no.
stories or no shit
No,
like that.
Fueling has already had to crack open their new was it their 121 or whatever, the VVT on their
Mhm.
CVO.
That's what we heard. Yeah,
They already
I
have
heard
a
that too.
cam sensor.
Yeah, the cam sensor. I guess all that's plastic, and
Yeah.
it was all bowing out and warping.
Yeah,
Yep.
because
Harley likes plastic parts internal on a motor.
because my boy down there in Miami already had been working, souping up, working on that stuff, and ran into the same problems Fueling ran into. So
I guess we're gonna see like a heavy aftermarket for billet replacements.
Look at that. Tweedle says, my bike survived you.
I barely even ran that bike. Don't worry about it.
But, Harley on the Milwaukee 8s, they put the plastic anti-rotational cuffs in. That's what keeps the lifters from rotating, Jake.
Yeah.
They're plastic. And Harley's not seeing them fail because all the ones that are failing have fallen out of warranty. They're the 2017s and 2018s now. They're failing because they're cracking, because they're getting brittle from heat cycles after heat cycles after heat cycles. And, I talked with the Harley engineers in Milwaukee about it, and I was telling him what I'm seeing. He's like, well, we're not seeing that. I said, of course not, because nobody wants to pay $125 an hour at the dealerships when they could go somewhere else and pay less labor for the same, if not better quality work.
And
a
tap it right.
That's where the tap it right stuff came from. So
I'll tell you what, Hells, if you send me a set of tap it rights, I'll put them in.
I'll tell you what, Doc, I've heard that 100 times already.
Yeah, I'm sure.
My God.
But 701 Trawler, welcome. Thanks for joining in. You're going to have to catch up. I had an amazing guest on tonight. His great uncle has set all these records with Harley Davidson. Back in the day, knew Bill Harley, Arthur Davidson, and the rest of the crew. Knew Shrimp Burns. Worked with Howard Hues.
I couldn't imagine knowing those guys. That'd been awesome.
Yeah, to sit there and see the history, to live the history that his great uncle did.
Because the way he raced obviously was. I'm sure he bounced ideas off of them, and they probably talked to him of what they could do better or different. And
Well, now if you ask Hells and I, we'll tell you get rid of the throttle grip, just put an on-off switch. Full throttle or no throttle.
Yeah. But you kind of think about it. It's the same shit that we do, especially
basically
OF. What I hear about with this story and stuff, it's kind of what I see in the industry. The guys that are really revolutionized the industry, keeping it going forward, are your guys that's not mainstream corporate.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the company, like those people. Yeah, that's the difference.
They just do cool shit.
It's the real people out here really putting in the work to find out what's right, what works, what doesn't.
Right.
They want to take a cool motorcycle, make it cooler.
Right.
It's badass.
Yeah, it's not about look at me type of thing. It's just the fact they have a thing and want to make it cooler, just because they love motorcycles and that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to plug Brian Clock here. When I was talking to Brian Clock in Daytona, he says, look, when I started Clockworks, man, all I wanted to do was build choppers and ride choppers. I never wanted to be the windshield king. But look what happened. And it's afforded me to buy and build choppers and ride them. But, he's still a biker at heart. He's a chopper guy at heart. And he loves his choppers. And he's the windshield king.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's expanding his warehouse. He's making different products now. So, I mean, that's allowed him to do all that. I mean,
to me, another great example is Ryan Cruzy. Like, that dude's been around the scene forever, right? And it's just been lately with the social media stuff that he's really become more mainstream popular because people know who he is. But that dude's been around forever doing cool shit.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's the same with me. I've been around forever. It's just now, people are noticing, that I'm doing cool shit. I mean,
Where's the dump button? Where's the dump button?
I'm a legend.
That better help.
All right, get Arden back in here.
Back to timeout.
I couldn't resist, Ray.
That's cool. I just wonder how many assholes in the side chat are going to say, give me the bird,
What's up, Brock? Yeah, 701
right
Traveler, Brock. He's cool as shit. He came to our place when we were in Daytona, hung out with us.
Who?
701 Traveler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? Yeah, I just know him at 701.
Yeah, he's cool as shit, dude. That dude lays some fucking miles. He smashes miles.
Yeah, he's a trucker, ain't he?
No, he's a fiber splicer.
Oh.
Yeah. Toyota, why the fuck are you not here?
Because he's scared.
He's fishing.
He ain't fishing. He's like
He's
now.
on 1-900 Love Connection, trying to find his girlfriend.
He's working on his OnlyFans page. Posing with the bronze chicken.
Yeah, you know how they have like a suicide hotline? They have a Hell's hotline now. Hell's me. Please help me.
Well, he did say he beat you up the hill.
He did. It's easy to do when you can barely fucking go. I should have just been shoving that motherfucker up the hill the way I was going.
It would have been funny. You said, I beat you up the hill on one cylinder. That would have been funny.
Here's the thing. Normally, I would be that asshole, and I would just, fuck it. I'm still going to prove a point that I can beat the shit out of you. But then there's my wife that's been up my ass about this motor. And I was not about to completely blow this motor up like I've done the past ones. So,
Well, the past ones weren't your fault,
no.
in all fairness. Extra parts laying around in your crankcase and cam chest, I mean, they're just there just in case, it could self-heal.
I just want to fix this problem.
Yeah.
It's the only problem with this motor. It is the only problem with this motor.
Sounds like you need to just put a stock motor back in it and then restart.
I said that today. I was on the phone with a few people, and I was like, dude, I'm about to say, like, fucking start over.
Yeah.
I got a 114 laying here doing nothing.
That's what I mean. You need to put a whole stock motor back in it and then just do it.
It's got a Zippers 468 cam in it. It's already got S&S oil pump cam plate, S&S 5mm.
I was told not to because couple people knows this motor. They're like, dude, that's like the baddest 130 if we've ever been around, and you cannot get rid of that motor. We just have to figure out what this.
Well, don't get rid of it. Just swap it and then figure out what it's doing.
Well, make sure it's up and running for Daytona so we could do some hooligan shit.
Fix it and then get rid of it.
It's how you gonna fix it if you can't run it?
I'm saying put it in something just to,
I'll be right back.
And then, I mean, that motor will fit in a soft tail on it or just a frame or something, easy.
What, my motor?
Yeah. Or just go buy a fucking cheap bagger for $2,000, take the motor, put in it, take your time, work on it, and you can ride another one, have another bike stock, and then just start over with it and figure out what's going on with the other one.
Yes, dear.
$2,000 takes you back to twin cam days, my man.
What's wrong with twin cam?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about just for the frame though. Just can't you put no, you can't do it, can you? You can't put an M8 in it.
Nope, they changed the frame when they went to the M8 motor.
That's right. Well, Copart has some good wreck bikes.
I think I'm about to blow some people's minds in the next couple of days.
I'm telling you, man, I see a lot of people buying those bikes and just, a lot of them are still good.
Nope, I got a plan, and it's going to blow some people's minds in the next couple of days. What's about to happen? So, but
701 Traveler says he'll have a 114 next spring.
Good, and you can just travel more and come hang out with us some more.
Yeah, Corey, I don't, he says twin cams never had these issues.
No, okay, so the 103B motor, the last couple of years of the 103B motor, I think they got it right. It was a good all around motor, like bulletproof, fucking awesome, straight from the factory.
Didn't those things throw chains all the time?
Not the last couple of years. The 110 had heat issue problems and all that stuff. The 103B is excellent motor. Trust me, that 103B motor I had lasted longer than any fucking motor I've ever had. And I would run that thing 100 plus miles an hour all the time.
Tweedle says he loves you long time. You can't blow his mind. Or he knows you long time. You can't blow his mind. Love you long time.
I've got a 5-minute long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tweedle's been around.
She said no black man first.
Yeah, Tweedle's been around me enough. Yeah, I do have something going on this weekend. You'll be here for it. Why are you asking?
I wished I could make it, but I can't. My uncle actually came out of heart surgery this morning. He's doing okay to this point as far as I've talked to his wife today. So he's doing good.
Yeah, I got a orthopedic surgeon for this hand, for all these tendons and stuff.
Yeah, what happened with your hand? You said that
I clutch, and it was like a fucking rubber band, and it looked like a electric shock went pow right through my hand, and then it fucking it swelled up on me, and 3 days later, I finally went to the VA. I was like, "Hey, something's wrong with my hand. Maybe it's gout. I have gout in my big toe. Maybe I got gout." Nope. They're like, "You gotta go see the orthopedic surgeon."
It sounds like you popped a tendon.
Probably.
certainly sounds that way. That had to be painful too.
It's still painful. I took it out of the brace because it was getting that thing is a pain in the butt, but it does help because like if I grab something, try to pick it up or anything, the tendons just want to I don't have any strength to hold anything heavy in that hand.
So let me ask everybody here. I've been toying with the idea of putting up a studio in my house to do these lives, or do you prefer them in the shop?
Yeah, get you a big couch and put it in there so you can have a casting couch for your studio.
There you go. have you and Crystal on the couch one night.
Oh God, damn.
Whoa, where are you going with this, Doc?
That's not YouTube friendly.
Yeah, to have the mic back there and a second camera set up and hang out. I'll put you on Spaceballs and
It depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you got an extra bedroom to do it in, to set up a studio, I mean.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of people do the camera angles different where it shows, it may be up here in the corner and it'll show them, interacting with the computer system and stuff like that. Or they'll have a table where there'll be mics where you can see from sideways, from both sides, see the whole table. And, it just, I would research it and see what fits you best if you do the room,
I'm thinking, instead of the kitchen table.
Actually, go check out a channel, iSpike Studios. He does it in his barn/garage that has like the multiple camera angles. It's pretty cool because he has the bikes and all that stuff setting up, and that dude does it. He's down there in Australia in the middle of nowhere. Puts on a pretty good show.
Slim Jim says the shop works for him.
Well, that's what I mean. If you do different camera angles, you can, because a lot of people, they click a button and they'll jump to a different camera and then, or they can,
Yeah, just don't show us your butthole, okay?
Yeah.
No, of course not. That's on my OnlyFans page. Great, a big supporter of that channel.
I still got to figure out how to get my camera on my computer to work.
How about you
It's working now.
How about you just
I'm on my phone.
flip your phone sideways so it's like full picture and stuff like that.
Yeah. Instead of like you're doing a short for YouTube or something.
Bam!
Look
Look at that.
Whoa!
Look at that.
Whoa!
That was an improvement. Now, what are you using? A laptop or a?
Well, right now I'm on my phone because.
No, I know that, but do you have a laptop or a mobile camera? Okay.
Yeah, laptop.
Yeah, I don't use my camera on my laptop either. I don't use it because it just shows. It almost looks snowy-ish,
Yeah,
it's like
it
a bright. Dude, I went
even
to
come through.
go to Walmart. I got a $20 ONN camera. Plugs right in. It was $20 with tax, $22, and let me tell you, it works. You see how it works. I mean,
Don't buy one.
good.
Don't buy one. I'll put it in your care package. I think
Hey, this is the camera I'm
I don't use my laptop camera. See, I got my own.
See, like right now, I've got my phone laying against my laptop screen, and then I got the chat in the background.
See, hell sticker. Hey,
look at that.
there's docs. Yeah.
I'm about to send you our new RideH2.com sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need one of those.
I need to get some stickers, man.
You need
Yeah.
to edit some of that footage you got there. Okay?
Jake,
Do what
when I
now?
get down to Florida, I'm going to bring you a sticker. One that Health doesn't have.
I appreciate that.
But you got to put it on your bike.
You know, I did ammo can saddlebags for that West Virginia trip I took with Hells, and there's nothing on them right now, so that's exactly where that's gonna go.
I'll send you some of mine. I got 3 different ones.
Hell yeah.
Or I can give them to you when I come down in March.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Stickers.
And I got cups. I got cups that I put them on too.
Wait, Health, I think I did give you those stickers.
You sound like my teenage daughters. No, I'm joking. I'm just fucking with you. I just like busting balls, man. I'm sorry. It comes out of nowhere, and I don't even know I'm doing it. Sorry.
I'm a sticker whore, though. Like I've got a cabinet.
I love.
I got a cabinet in my room
Yeah,
that's
I
covered
think
in
those
stickers.
You're right here. Like I'm literally looking at your stickers right here.
Hey,
Man,
Health.
I got my
You have
damn
the
bag
stickers
inside
with
my
the-
tour pack, and my bag's everything full of them. So
Hey, Health. You have the sticker with the 2 skulls that says, "Is there life after death?" Bump
Yeah.
it this way and find out.
Right here.
That's the one I gave you. So you do have that.
Yeah. Hey, I got the heartbeat Dr. one also.
Yep.
what's up, riding on 3s? And no, Tweedo, I'm not leaving in December to make it to Bike Week. My shit will be fixed by the end of the month, hopefully. I've
What
done
happened to your
that.
bike?
The exhaust is just not right, and I don't have enough. I've lost the power and torque because I have straight header pipes come out, and I have 4.5 inch.
Those straight dual pipes, like it's
Yeah.
like square body Chevy running down the road.
Yeah, and
pipes.
I've got 4.5
Golly.
inch, Shark Road, big ass, slip-ons on, and there's no baffles. So I didn't really pay attention to what I was doing to start with.
Just a lot of open pipe.
Yeah, so I'm fixing to close it and put a 2-into-1.
Yeah.
The S&S on it. I've got the S&S aftermarket air intake right now. So,
Yeah. Everybody we meet goes on my cabinet that's in here. So
Yeah, stay
I'm,
with me. You can see it cabinet right back there. It's got everybody's
I'm
pictures on it.
itching to get some exhaust on mine.
I'm looking at the
Stupid.
Sidewinder 2-into-1, the S&S.
So
But
we
it's
can
got a
see
4.5 inch on
Atlas
it too, and
tape.
I don't want the 1.5.
For your lowrider S, Smoky Speed catless.
Yep.
yeah,
I
well,
have that on baseball. It is loud. It is obnoxious, and I love it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Good power.
that's good for that lowrider. But for my Ultra, I just want something that's going to give me my shit back and work right and proper. I don't care about the sound. I mean, I really don't.
Smoky.
Smoky.
Yeah, they make it for you right.
See you later, Corey.
Later, Corey.
Yeah, Doc. I already told him that's what Jake's getting because his
Yep.
OS works with Smoky. So I was like, "Yep, you're getting a Smoky."
Reach out to Dump Truck on Instagram. He works for Smoky.
Wow.
Fun fact. Sawiki also does a military discount through IDMe,
Yeah.
I think.
See, when I ordered
So-
mine, they didn't have it in black, and it was $225 more. So I said, well, send me the stainless, and I sent it out for ceramic coating.
Stainless is fine.
But
But
no,
yeah,
Smoky
I'm
Speed is good
itching.
as fuck.
I'm itching to get my sewing machine to not sound like a sewing machine.
Hey, Jake, I know where you can go.
Yeah, I know, man. I just gotta
OS
get there.
Performance, right? Norman Beach.
I'm still waiting on something else, and then I gotta go do a 5K on it too. So
I'm about ready to do the 5K service on that new motor.
I tried to find that video that you said you did, Doc.
It's one of my
And I don't-
early ones.
Yeah, I don't know if I just didn't look far enough back or
Let me
what.
see.
But
I'll find it and I'll post a link up to it. How's that?
cool deal.
Content.
Jake,
Yeah.
what are you
What's up?
wearing?
Not my khakis tonight. I had
So
to
you
take them
told
to
me you only
the.
wear khakis.
Usually, I had to take them to the dry cleaner.
I told him that would be a funny skit to make for H2 Performance.
So are you like a California style, pull your socks up with the Vans and khaki shorts?
No, I'm classy. Okay, I got the Under Armour golf pants.
Okay, nothing wrong with golf pants.
They make my legs look good.
I got the black ones.
Oh, I'm still trying to figure out why Tweedle won't come on. He's pansy.
Who knows?
You're pansy, Tweedle. You ride your bike like it's a grocery getter.
There it is. It's in the side chat, Jake.
I remember when I
Sweet.
run nuts all over his bike and rode wheelies and stuff.
Thanks, Doc. I got that on the side right now.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Save yourself hundreds of dollars.
So, Doc, when are you doing the stage 2? Because I'm interested. I want to see how it performs.
I'm probably going to start it next week.
I'm actually more interested. Not that's in the numbers. I want to see the dynograph on it.
Well,
Oh.
it won't be going to the dyno right away. You know, funds.
You're dick teeth, Doc. You are a dick teeth.
Yeah, well, you know, somebody has to. You know, I gotta cast the line out, get you on the hook, and I gotta set the hook before I really in.
Dallas. Hey, Dallas, why don't you come up here this weekend? Don't be a pansy. Come up here and hang out with us.
I'll show you a dynograph. Let me see if I can find it.
Show me. Show me.
Hold on, I gotta find it.
Quit being a dick tease. Show me. What do you want?
What?
So what do you want?
I'm going to tell her she's going to bed.
She's going to bed.
That's why I left.
Oh, okay.
And she finished the show. Crazy things happen. Well, that episode. If-
I'll just rewatch it when she goes to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is pretty crazy.
Come say hi, Crystal, before you go to bed.
Yeah, come say hi. What's up? What's up?
Hi, Crystal.
Hello.
Hey, we're gonna do this right, so everybody can see Crystal. It's all about you, honey. You
Go
don't
ahead.
care about that other guy.
What about me?
It's all about you. You're the talent behind everything.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
I love her to death, and the joke right now, I'm like, you're my CEO, and you can't even spell business. Because the other day, she's like, how do you spell business? I'm like,
Well, I got a question for you. Can you spell CEO?
That's about.
she's like, that's about it.
I am. Listen, I understand that spelling is not my talent,
Not mine either.
and I'm okay with that.
Go fast is your talent.
Crystal, Spaceballs wants to know when you're going to come up here and try and break it.
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to come up northeast. Maybe, I don't know, one of these. Well, we'd have to do it in the summer, but now that we are going to be heading to all these rallies, you never know.
You never know. Well, you won't find me in Laconia anymore.
Done with that?
I'm done with that. I'm done with lame Laconia.
Well, we talked about doing Gettysburg next year, possibly doing it.
There you go. I'll be there.
Yeah, we're going to, maybe over the winter, we're going to try to work up a list of rallies.
I'll be at Loretta Lynn's. In February, I'll be at the CSSTL in St. Louis.
Daytona.
Daytona in March. Yep. Don't know if I'm going to go back to Catskills next September or am I going to go down to Ocean City, Maryland again.
Catskills and Smuggler's Notch has been on my list.
A bucket. That's, yeah, Smuggler's Notch is on my bucket list rides.
I'm going to be at Catskill Mountain Thunder in September. So.
And I want to make it up to Bar Harbor, Maine.
Bahaba. You could go to the top of Cadillac Mountain and be the first person in the United States to see the sunrise because you are the furthest and highest point east in the United States.
Yeah,
Why'd you tell her that? Because now I'm going to have to get up like early as shit just so she can.
Well, you could just stay
I'm
up.
going to reiterate, it's all about Crystal.
Hey, I'll go do that one with
They're
her.
saying they can't get on because Doc won't put the link in the side chat again.
I have a lot of
Right.
places on my bucket.
God, Tweedle just whines a lot. We're looking for solutions here, man, not problems.
Get 'em,
Golly.
Get him, Jake. All right, Hells, this is for you. All right, you ready?
Right.
Can you see that, or I need to make it bigger?
No, I see that. Chop, chop, chop.
Is that Spaceballs?
Yeah. Is that good?
Well, my bike wasn't as fast as Spaceballs. I
No.
can tell you that.
Dude,
What's
that thing,
not as fast as Spaceball?
dude, that
Just
horse-
looks like my EKG when I go to the doctor.
I mean, yeah, you're looking at it 131 on the low rider versus
Yeah.
your 114 on a low
Yeah,
rider.
my bike was not that fast.
What?
It took me a little bit of getting used to.
Dude, that thing fucking gains horsepower fast. Look how steep that fucking horsepower climbs.
Yeah, it went, don't it?
That's
Straight up.
the Psychorama 512 cam. So
All right, PA or somebody, turn your shit.
Not me. I got nothing on.
Tweedle.
What? I ain't got shit on. Might be you,
Someone
Ray.
I ain't touched mine.
Quick fair and dino sheets. Here you go.
Dun,
You
dun,
can't even
dun.
see it.
Ed, put it away, Tweedle. I don't want to embarrass you.
I don't want to embarrass you.
You ain't gonna embarrass me.
I got it.
Put that back up there, Tweedle. Let's look at that one. Since we're looking on this bike point tonight. I can't see shit.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I
hold on,
can't
hold
see
on.
shit either.
Doc's looks like it went straight up a mountain. Tweedle's looks like it's going up straight up a hill.
What is that? 86 horse at 101 foot-pounds of torque?
Yo,
ain't
this
bad
is my
for
bike,
a
not
race.
Ray's.
Oh.
Tweedle, what are you riding? A Yamaha?
No, he's got a Sportster S.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I got a Honda Rebel.
Hey, I got one too. You want to race?
Doc, you still got that tab open?
Yeah.
That's what I think's echoing.
Yeah, doggy. The hell does that say?
What's up, DeWitt?
163.56 torque, 153.12 horsepower. That's that
150.
Psychorama cam.
Here's mine. You can show it. That's the
Hey.
ball schedule.
I
Yeah,
love Psychorama cam. That
I
cam has
know.
done great for me.
I noticed that if somebody could ever fix this with the exhaust, but the fact of that being a shorter exhaust, you always see how you have the horsepower dip and then it comes in.
I know that Indian I just bought is pretty snappy.
I tell you what, let me borrow that for Saturday when I go up to Lake George. I'll run your Scout against Noggin's Lowrider S.
What, my Scout?
Yeah.
All right.
So you're gonna get Noggin a big head, Doc.
All right.
Yeah, well, you know,
So before I get off, I'll answer. This weekend, Xenia Harley Davidson. We will be there. H2 Performance. Toyota will be there. We Ride West Virginia will be there. We're doing demo rides on suspension technology stuff and taking orders. So come up, see us if you're in the area.
there it is. The H2 Performance schedule.
Yep.
You doing installs?
No. We're doing demos and taking orders.
Beautiful.
I think it's PA. Yeah. Somebody's out there.
I just muted him and it's not him.
I had mine muted, so I can still hear it. Tweedle looks like he got a haircut and cut his beard.
Yeah, well, you know.
Told you it was Tweedle. Look at him. He fixed it.
I ain't got shit going on.
All right,
So,
gents. I'm gonna hop off.
Speakers from the laptop reverbing back through the microphone.
Yeah, see?
What the fuck? It's still doing it.
Hey, Ellis, make sure you give me your address to ship these, and I'll ship them right out to you.
All right, you guys be good. Later.
Later, Ellis.
See you, Pappy.
Come on, and he runs off.
So Doc, that dyno jet that I came with, that came with my bike.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the reason why it's got so much snap to it?
Probably. I don't know if they did any work inside the motor.
The guy said there was a lot of work done to the motor. He's gonna send me paperwork when he gets back.
Throw it out in the
Oh, okay.
woods.
But I know third gear, if I rack it, the fucking tire will break loose.
Nice. The hell was that?
My kid.
Oh.
Yep. All right, gents.
Jake.
I'm out of here for the night.
All right,
All right,
Jake.
Jake. Be careful, buddy.
Y'all have a good one.
Don't
We'll see you
forget my
around.
insurance quote.
I'll have it to you soon.
All right.
See you later.
Later.
So it was very interesting listening to your guest tonight.
Great dude. Wealth of
Man,
knowledge.
I had to stop doing what I was doing at work just to sit and listen.
All right, Dallas. Talk to you in the morning, buddy.
Later, Dallas.
It's past my
Well,
bedtime, too.
I mean, for his great uncle to do what he did with Harley Davidson,
It's
on the Indy
amazing.
track, and with Howard Hues.
Yep.
I mean, the guy just, wherever he went, it just turned to gold.
Yeah. Yeah. Just amazing. Amazing.
Absolutely.
I literally shut my machinery down and went in the break room and just sat there and listened.
Nice.
You know.
PA,
And
you
you're
growing
doing
a
something with him
mustache?
too. Yeah. I'm going for my flavor saver, man.
There you go.
Now, what were you saying, PA?
I said, what is that you're going to be doing with him?
Yeah, he kind of let the cat out of the bag. I don't think Doc was going to.
I'm going to be the technical advisor. So when someone has a technical question about the record-breaking knucklehead that was built
Mhm.
especially for him, they're going to refer the questions to me. So I have a lot of research to do,
Wow.
more so than what I've already done. So
Yeah. Now, you were saying about a museum in New York.
yep.
What is that? And could you send me the info on it? Because I would love to take my wife there.
Yeah, it's the Newburgh, New York Motorcyclopedia Museum. I will definitely get you that information.
Hey, guys,
Yeah,
my
'cause-
kids came in, so I'm going to have to jump off here and see to them.
All right, Ray.
So,
Have a good
Doc,
one.
All right,
bro.
Ray.
great show, buddy.
Good talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, PA, always good to see you, man.
You too, brother.
Everybody in the side chat, have a good one. I
Check
can't
out
say
Ray's
anymore.
Motorlight.
Yeah, but Doc, great show, man. It was good having that
Thank
guy
you.
on. And yeah, Paul was a great guest. So
Hey, your Tennessee video was cool, man. I liked it.
it was kind of choppy. It messed up. It didn't do what I wanted to. That's why I don't like to shoot too many ride videos. But thanks. I've got some more to come. I've still got like 4 other videos I ain't even put out on Tennessee.
I can't wait to see your install video. You're awesome.
I
Yeah.
actually got a lot of videos from me riding the new bike on my phone, but I can't, for some reason, I can't download from my phone to YouTube.
So that's all I use is my iPhone to do all
Yeah.
that. So
I got an iPhone, but it ain't none of them Apple type things. It's just a regular old.
no, if you got an
GS
iPhone,
22.
I don't know. Mine's 11, so, and I know they got like a iPhone 14 now, so I'm still using 11. So, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Just I would look it up online or look it on, how to upload it. I just go into my app, my YouTube app, and go in and I hit add, and download or plus, and it says upload a video, and
Yeah, because when I
go
go to
to my
do
gallery.
I don't even have that option on my phone, YouTube option on my phone, unless I go right to YouTube itself, and then it doesn't give me no option to download video or
It should.
whatever.
Do you have the app on your phone?
Good night, Tiger.
I just have YouTube app,
That's what I mean. Yeah. And if you go into it, go to your channel, there should be a plus down at the bottom of the screen,
Okay.
next to where it says subscriptions, library, shorts, home. There's a plus.
Okay.
If you hit that
Okay.
plus, it will say create a short, upload a video, go live, or create a post. And if you
Okay.
just go to upload a video, it should automatically send you to your videos in your phone, and then you can upload it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do that tonight because I got some pretty good ones on. Actually, I gotta say this quietly. Tomorrow I'm gonna do a video of a burnout because I owe Doc a burnout.
All right, I'm gonna jump off here, guys. Later. Have a good night.
Later,
Doc. I'll
later,
talk to
brother.
you tomorrow. All right, guys. See you.
Yeah,
Where's Tweedle? Come back here, Tweedle.
I think he's fixing his mic.
Yeah, he might be.
Bad mic. So yeah, I'm gonna try that tonight. I'm gonna see what I can do with that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna come on earlier, but I was just swamped with work. I wanted to get shit done, and
Yep.
I got these employees that you just don't want to do shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it happens.
And I got to fix their shit and come into a mess when I come in, and they're gonna come into a big mess tomorrow because I got about 10 write-ups I did tonight.
Yeah.
You can only take so much. You know what I mean, Doc?
Yep. Here is the link for anybody who's interested for the Joe Petrali. Where'd Tweedle go? He left completely now. But here's
Yeah, he
the
did.
website for the Joe Petrali Foundation. Check it out, guys. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely http://joepatelli.com. I'm gonna check that out tomorrow. joepatelli.com. All right, I got it. I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, listening to him, I was just like, oh my God, and all the things he's accomplished. And man, I've only heard of him like one time, but I didn't get into listen. You know what I mean? I was just kind of, yeah, okay, whatever. And then I started listening tonight. I'm definitely gonna go into that website and check that out because
what do you think how I felt when I first met him and I was talking to him?
oh my God, I bet you felt like you were on top of the world.
I felt this big.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but now you're gonna be doing things for him. So
Yeah.
I mean, tap yourself on the shoulder, brother, because not many people get that opportunity.
And I asked him, you mind if I get you on camera while we're in Milwaukee? He said, oh no, not at all. We talked about his uncle there for a little bit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that was in the second Milwaukee video. And then I asked him when we were done doing that quick interview, would he mind coming on, as a special guest on one of my Wednesday night lives? And I says, it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He goes, well, that's fine. I'm in California. So I said, that'd be 5 p.m. your time. And he was like, yeah, no problem. I'd love to do it. And,
Man.
there we go. And it just blew up from there. And I'm just humbled that he was gracious enough to do that. And happy he was able to do that.
Yeah. Well, he really seems like he likes you, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, we got along really, really well when we first met. And it was just one of those things, man. We bumped into each other. We started talking. And it just grew and blossomed from there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a meant to be thing right there. I mean,
Yeah.
that was
And it was
just
over by
amazing.
we were right by the V-Twin Visionary display and the Hill Climber Monument of Smoke and Joe.
Which is his uncle.
His great uncle, yeah.
That's fucking wild. Man. I am going to share that link with all my buddies, especially my other buddy, Kenny. He's big, 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 big. And then he's probably even heard of him,
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
was,
You know?
man,
Share 'em
unbelievable.
give them the link to tonight's interview. And
Oh
you know,
yeah, I'm actually Chip was gonna come on, because he wanted to talk to you about his bike. Well, let me tell you, he had that. Remember that leak I was telling you about? Well, I told him I had the same leak, and I took it to the shop, and it came back, and it still leaked. And I had said to the mechanic, I said, the only other thing that it could be is the inner primary. You know, the thing, yeah.
the
Anyway,
O-ring.
right, the O-ring. Thank you. So he's like, no, it's coming from my oil pan seal. So I said, well, I don't know. I said, so we took it all apart. He bought all the stuff for it. Took it all apart, put it together, you know, took it for a ride, came back, was sitting there having a cigarette. Well, they're having a cigarette. And I looked down and I'm like, you're leaking. And he's like, don't stop kidding with me. I'm like, I'm not kidding with you, dude. And I said, I'm telling you right now, it's in the primary sale.
Yeah.
And
Because
so,
there's actually 3 of them.
okay.
You have the one that goes around your stator.
Mm-hmm.
You have the one that goes around the output shaft of your transmission. And then there's an O-ring for the starter.
Okay. Okay.
So the one that mostly fails is the one that goes for the output shaft of the transmission.
Okay.
And that usually goes because nobody replaces it because they can be a pain in the neck to remove and install.
Yeah, they said it's hard to get them. You got to have some kind of special tool or whatever, some kind of torque or something, you know,
Yep.
to take that off.
Yep.
So I don't have that kind of tool. And a friend
Yep.
of ours, he
A regular
he's got
seal
everything.
puller will work too.
A what?
A seal puller.
A sail puller. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a hook. It's got 2 hooks, one on each side, and you just get underneath it, pry it up, and it pops out.
Right.
And then
Right.
you need
Right.
the tool to, put the new seal in.
Mm-hmm. Well, he ordered it, and it'll be here Saturday. I told him you should take it apart first before you ordered anything.
Yeah.
I mean, that way you already know. Like you said, there's 3.
Well,
So who
if he's
knows?
taking his inner primary off, he's going to have to get new inner primary bolts because those are a one-time use only bolt too.
Okay.
And the reason why they're one-time use only is there's a little orange gasket right at the flange of the bolt that once you remove it, if you don't replace them, they will leak.
Okay. Well, I better tell him that then because.
Hold on. I think I got one. I do. It's a used one, and I keep it around just for, showing people. So
Right.
here's your inner primary bolt.
Okay.
And if you look inside here, there's an orange seal.
Okay.
Right
Yep.
there at
Yep.
the
I can
base.
see it.
And that's the reason why this is a one-time use bolt.
Okay.
That's the only
So-
reason.
I wonder if he know. I gotta let him. I told him to come on tonight and talk to you afterwards, but he's building something for his kids in the yard.
Yep.
You know, some kind
And
of big
when-
swing thing.
Whenever I'm pulling an inner primary, Harley Davidson sells a whole kit that comes
Mhm.
with all the seals and the bolts except for the outer primary gasket. That's sold separately.
What does that kit go for? Do you know?
The last one I bought is for the bike behind me, and that's a twin cam. Was like $118.
Hey, too bad.
No,
Mm-hmm.
considering you're getting the 5 bolts, the 3 gaskets,
Mm-hmm.
you just got to get a quart of oil in the outer primary gasket and you're done.
Right. Well, I hope I'll have to let him know, and hopefully he ordered other stuff that he needs. So.
Yep. And if he's going to do the job himself, the clutch basket bolt is a reverse thread. So it's righty-loosey
Okay.
instead of lefty-loosey. It's righty.
All right.
And then the compensator bolt is a normal thread.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why
I-
they do that is because of the way the clutch basket spins, it doesn't loosen up the bolt.
Right. I had to replace my clutch basket when they did that because when he took it off, there was all kinds of shavings in there.
Yeah.
I use that now as an ashtray. So
I've had pistons I use worn out, burnt out pistons I've used as ashtrays.
yeah. Oh, hang on. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Trying to fix it. There we go. Yeah. So I feel bad for him. He's doing
Good
everything
night,
he
Wilson.
can. And
Yep.
He's going to Virginia next weekend to go see Jelly Roll,
Oh, okay.
and he wants to ride his bike. And it's like a 5-hour drive, and he said, I felt bad for him, and I was like, well, you don't get it fixed, let me know. I'll let him take the dresser.
Yeah.
But so he got that bike, and it was like his first Harley, I guess, and and his
It's your
whole
first Harley, it's your first love.
yeah, exactly. That's like mine. It's my second wife. I just got a dirty look from my wife. But so yeah. I wanted to come on and say hi to the guy, but there were so many people on. I just, you know what I mean. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's then figured it out when he
Yeah.
took it apart.
Mm.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I actually did a video last year about oil leaks on the inner primary and how to remove it and replace the gaskets.
I wonder if I could find that video. I'm sure I can.
Yeah, it
Just sort of-
was earlier last year.
Mhm.
I think it was like around the March time frame.
Mhm. I'll just go to your thing and
Yeah.
just keep looking.
Yeah, that was also a twin cam motor.
Yeah.
And mates the
I thought-
same way, same thing. And there is a torque sequence when you torque it down.
Okay.
And I don't remember what the torque sequence is for the twin cam. I should because I just did it about a month and a half ago on that thing. I'm just waiting on him to come pick it up.
Oh yeah. What is it? It's a.
It's a
I can't see it.
2015 Street Glide
Oh, he's got it all.
camo wrap.
Camo. Yeah. Pretty
So
cool.
wrapping. Yeah. Yep.
I was gonna have my bike. I seen something nice. I wanted my bike to be wrapped, but I was afraid it would hurt my paint underneath it.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
No, it actually protects your paint. When they wrap it, they give the bike a good cleaning. They strip all the wax off of it, get all the dust and grime off of it, and then they'll wrap it.
Yeah. Because I know a guy that knows a guy that he did his bike, and I mean it's beautiful. And I was like, I'd like to do mine, and I found what I wanted. And he talked to the guy. He said $1,500.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty fair.
Yeah.
You know?
Considering a car will cost you about $3 to $5 grand.
Yeah, yeah. I know my buddy had his boat done, and that was like $7 grand. Was a little
Yep.
fishing boat. But yeah, what happened to Tweedle? He fall asleep?
No, he's having issues with his laptop.
No, I know how that is. Every time I try to use my laptop to come on, I have issues with it. And I want to set up a studio in the spare room over here. So I think
See,
I'm just gonna get a new one.
Tweedle left before I got a chance to say Hell's left because you broke his bike because he was afraid his bike was afraid of your bike. And so he figured he'd jump off before you broke his laptop.
That's funny.
But
Too bad.
he didn't hang out long enough.
No. Wow. Yeah, that Indian boy, I'm telling you, man, that thing, man. I rode my wife's and then, I ride that and I'm like, the guy, I talked to the guy that owned it before me. He's in the military He's overseas. And when I talked to the salesman, I said, you know, you don't have to give me their information. I'll give you my information if you could reach out to them. I said, if there's a tuna here, a jet tuna, obviously there must have been something done to the bike.
Yep.
I said, I would like to know before I go having something. Well, she called me and told me that she had talked to her husband, and her husband said he did about $2,500 worth of work. What, big bore or something, big bore kit, and dyno tune and the pipes and whatever. I guess it's I want to say maybe stage 3, maybe. Would that sound right?
I'm not sure on Indians.
Yeah.
I can imagine they're close to the same,
Yeah.
you know.
So, but I know it's not normal. Like, you can feel it. It's definitely not normal.
Yeah.
I actually, it's kind of funny. I about spit myself off it the first day I drove it. I
Yeah, it
cracked that
happens.
throttle and it threw me
And if
back.
you're not expecting it, it'll catch you by surprise.
Yeah. You know, and it will do roll and burnout with no problem.
There you go.
I got to be careful with that because I like fucking doing burnouts.
Yeah.
I'm a
All right,
burnout.
I'm gonna end this video.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Everybody on the sidetrack, Zen, Evil Rick, Wilkie, who's already went to bed. Everybody came on the panel tonight afterwards. Also, a big special thank you to Paul Petrali for being my special guest tonight. What an amazing history lesson I got, and I'm sure everybody else did too. Harley Davidson Racing, about Joe and all his accomplishments and everything. That was awesome. All right, everybody. Until the next one, you live your best life you can. Ride often and ride hard.
Peace.